What's up? I'm Josh Gwynn, and I'm here to spread the good news that Back Issue is back with a brand new season. We're revisiting pop culture moments we still think about, and this time we're getting into our Season 3 era. If you know, then you absolutely know, and if you don't, that's what I'm here for. We're getting into our Degrassi era, our Silk Press era, our awards speech era, and more. We have so many eras to get into, so pack your bags and stay ready so you don't gotta get ready. Listen to Back Issue, a production of Pineapple Street Studios, available now wherever you get your podcasts.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith. Thanks for listening to the Men's Room Daily Podcast. Want more? Check out the greatest podcast in all the land, The Podcast. Be sure to subscribe and listen to a brand new episode every Tuesday night.
Unfortunately, what you're about to hear is real. The members of this radio program are simply not that bright, or what some people would call educated. They are merely stupid. They're not trying to offend anyone on purpose. And all have played doctors on TV. You have been warned and are cordially invited to join the party. This is the Men's Room.
Get it, man, and get with the countdown. Get with the countdown. Shake this square world and blast off for Kicksville. The trippers, the grasshoppers, the hip ones, all gathered in secrecy and flying high as a kite.
This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. You know what they say, shake your radio more than 3 times, and you're playing with it. You're listening to the Men's Room.
And away we go. Welcome to season 17, episodes number 3,742. Along with Steve the Thrill Hill, the Ted Smith, and my car. And you, Hard Men's Room. On tap today, the return of Who Sucks Less. We will play Profile This, plus headlines, a Men's Room shot of the day, fun with listener emails, and everyone's favorite, TV Time with Ted. Click, clack, drinkity drunk. All right, here we go. A man loses half of his skull after playing pub golf. Oh, and he went into a coma after falling down. Meanwhile, if you're wondering where your pizza is, it's with a guy who's cuffed, your delivery man, who's headed downtown. Woman is attacked by bear. That's when her Jack Russell sprang into action. Tracking devices found in snakes appear to involve a little subtraction. And a car thief, he drives his stolen car down the steps and into a subway station. That is all coming on today's very special episode of The Men's Room.
And now, here's the question.
Hola, bitches. Good day to you and yours. Over the last few shows, well, during our shot of the day, we have inadvertently toasted people for butt-related injuries. There's rugby superstar Corey Norman. He was a man who got himself suspended for the rest of the season after he, quote, forcibly and intentionally jammed his finger into the rectum of an opposing player. Yeah, apparently in rugby, you can't do that. Who knew? Then we toasted She-Hulk attorney-at-law actress Jamila Jamil. We toasted her for doing her own stunts on the show. That resulted in her pulling a muscle in her butthole. Now, if you're interested in injuring your backside, might I recommend the giant slide at Detroit's Belle Isle Park. Man. The recently reopened attraction, well, it's gone viral after videos of kids going airborne and then bouncing hard on their asses started circulating on the web. And on the topic of one's derriere, a British woman, she's trying to track down a man she met 10 years ago in Spain. Now, all she knows is that his name is Daniel Ford. The only reason she knows that his name is Daniel Ford is because she got his name tattooed on her ass. And that's kind of the reason why she wants to find him. Oh, and if you woke up this morning like I did thinking to yourself, man, oh man, I wish there was a good reason to sprinkle sugar on my leather Cheerio. We actually have some good news for you. We're not making this up. But all of this leads to today's question, which is quite simply, how does your butt figure into the story?
Be part of the big show. Call 206-421-ROCK. Like the Men's Room on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Men's Room Live. And send those emails to the Men's Room at KISW.com.
Are you pulling your hair out trying to increase resource utilization, deliver projects on time, and hit profitability targets? It doesn't have to be that hard. Cantata's purpose-built technology for professional services lets you manage resources, timelines, budgets, and client outcomes with up-to-the-minute insights right at your fingertips, so you can keep your business running smoothly, predictably, and profitably. Stop looking and start improving with Cantata today. That's KANTATA.com.
The debauchery rolls on. You're listening to The Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW.
Oh, Magellan's, away we go. Welcome to Season 17, episode number 3742. What a large and in charge program we have for you today on this guaranteed future repeat. Exciting return of Who Sucks Less, Steve. I don't know how you do it. You find people in the world who are doing not so kind things.
That's correct.
You bring us 3 stories from the news. They all suck. It's up to us to determine out of the 3 stories which one sucks the least. How are we looking this week on Who Sucks Less?
It's unbelievable. It's not the worst stuff in the world. In this case, it's 3 companies that we will be guessing who sucks the least.
Oh.
There's 3 companies. They have very similar situations. You just figure out which one you think sucks the least.
Okay.
It's unreal. Mike, in fact, thought it was the same company, and I had to say, no, Mike, it is 3 different.
Do they all do a similar thing here?
Yes, all 3 companies are in China. And just keep in mind, this is not Chinese rules, because what they do is in violation of the law. But let's just say, if you have a job in China at one of these places, you want a different job.
Okay.
That's all.
Or make sure that you're up to performance.
Perform well at your job. You know, Mike, you're correct.
Who Sucks Less is coming up. Also, as we do every Monday through Friday at 6, we head on over to the Odyssey app exclusively for the Men's Room Happy Hour, episode number 232, coming up today. If you don't have the Odyssey app, download it now. It's absolutely free. You'll want to search for the Men's Room Happy Hour channel. Now, if you happen to click on that thing right now, there's absolutely nothing on it. We go live at 6 o'clock for more Men's Room. Keep in mind, there's a reason it says explicit on the top of that channel. The reason being, we're not on the air anymore. We are on the Odyssey app, which means we don't have to follow the same rules. So as far as the topics are concerned and the language is concerned, it's not something that you want to have kids in the room for. So hopefully, if you haven't checked out the Men's Room Happy Hour, you can do so with us today. And today on the question, we're going to talk about your butt and how your butt figured into the story. And this started with an email that I opened up, I believe, about 7:30 this morning from our own Veggie Dog. Mm-hmm. And the title, Sunning Your Hole, the new wellness activity you really should not get into. And it's exactly what it sounds like. A Twitter post has once more brought the practice of sunning your backside out of the darkness, so to speak. In a widely shared tweet, a user posted a screenshot of a TikTok video of someone with the accompanying caption, "People always ask me how I'm so happy all the time. Sunning your backside for 2 minutes a day will increase your happiness."
Oh, will it?
These are people with their legs over their shoulders. I mean, it's not just that they're...
So what, laying on your back, put my knees by my ears.
You are on your back, man, and you're kind of...
And you're aiming it at the sun.
You are.
Okay.
Regrettably, people have been pointing their assorted lower orifices at the sun for some time now.
What do you think the sun thinks of that? Like, geez, guys, stop.
For a wide variety of supposed benefits. Spoiler, there are none. It seems like the opposite of what people were trying to do when they were maybe 5-10 years ago, bleaching that area.
Correct.
To lighten it. Mm-hmm. You would have to think even 2 minutes.
Going for the tan now.
Would make it a little bit darker. In the example currently doing the rounds on Twitter, they specify that it was to increase vibrations. That's about as good as an explanation you're going to get with the benefits of the practice.
Wait, I aim my butthole at the sun, and somehow this increases vibrations.
Good vibrations. Like, as far as, I feel better.
So
now.
good vibes.
I feel like I've got some good vibes.
All right. Now it makes
sense. Not actual vibrating down there. Others claim that it caused them energy surges, better sleep, better connection to their sexual energy, more creativity, and attracting people who are on the same frequency and wavelength as me. On a list of extraordinary claims that require extraordinary evidence, the bungus absorbs creativity from the sun. It's up there with, Right.
I wish Google Earth does a flyover at that moment.
Mm-hmm. Oh, by the way, humans don't get energy from sunlight except indirectly through consuming plants and animals that have consumed plants.
Correct.
Or you could argue in the same sense that it means you have to burn a fewer calories to stay warm. Who knows? Simply put, unless your butt has figured out how to do photosynthesis, there is no way you're getting any energy out of this. The anus is for expelling waste. Don't do this if you're worried about terrifying your neighbors or anything else. They say there are benefits, of course, to getting sunlight, such as an increase in vitamin D. Not too much, though, as UV is harmful to the skin. Taking a few minutes out of your day for a breather is also good for your mental health. Seasonal affective disorder is a type of depression linked to reduced exposure to sunlight during the fall and winter months and increasing time spent in natural sunlight. That can help to combat all that. So all that is true. But you lying on your back with your legs over your shoulders,
aiming your butt at the sun,
getting 2 minutes of bungus sun.
I am convinced that some stuff like this I feel like there's somebody somewhere who says, all right, I have a really stupid idea. It is completely not true, but let's put it out there and see how many people do it. Right?
Also, the power of the placebo.
Yeah, maybe.
It's always good to get out in the sun, but you're also naked outside.
Specifically the sun, my bunkus.
That's probably going to make you feel a little bit better.
Well, yeah, because you're in the sun. But I don't know that I'm going to feel better just because I aim my ass at it.
I'm telling you, it is. It feels a lot different when you get sun on places that you normally don't.
Yeah, which would be specifically there in my penis.
Exactly.
Because there's that whole problem of being naked outside. But you're right. Those brief moments, sunlight hits it. To be honest with you.
Yeah, it feels great. I mean, you feel so much better.
Good.
So I kind of get this in a way, but, ultimately they're saying as far as, whatever. To each their own.
To each their own, sure. And yeah, it feels good, but it's not like I'm going to put my D through a mail slot, just so it's outside to get the sun.
But that's someone's front door.
I know. No, I meant I'm inside, but yeah. No.
Oh, I thought you were
walking
up to
I like the
porches.
idea. Put it to the...
a mailman's done that before.
Just to see if you notice.
Yeah, exactly.
When you walk up to the door. Oh, my God.
Dog's there.
I put a pepperoni on it. God,
it's had to happen in history. You know for a fact.
Somebody wraps a treat around their penis, puts it through a mail slot.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that somebody has put their penis through a mail slot on the door.
Sure. No doubt.
I guarantee you it's happened.
Has somebody done it to a stranger's house?
Right, yeah.
I wouldn't mess with you.
Not like I'm coming
it.
home, like, hey, baby, like I'm knocking on the door, ringing the doorbell. There's a penis hanging through the door. Which, depending on how long you're married, is probably pretty funny. I'm talking about like the mailman or the UPS guy or something like that. Oh, now we have this story. She's determined to get to the bottom of this mystery. A British woman is trying to track down the man whose name she spontaneously tattooed on her posterior during a girls' trip on vacation back in 2012. Kaylee Williams was now 32. She was on vacation with 4 gal pals in Spain when she met the mystery man and his male friends on a night out. Now, the man, he offered to pay $33 for Williams to have his name, Daniel Ford, inked on her butt, and she drunkenly agreed. Quote, at this point in time, I'm a bit of a party animal, and I was just having a fun time with my friends. On one night out, we saw a group of lads from Cardiff, Wales. They were all dressed as babies. And they were all, going out and getting tattoos. They had diapers on, and the whole deal. She recalled this guy, who I got to chatting in the group, said, why don't you have my name tattooed on you, and I'll pay for it. At first, I thought he was joking, but I did, and he paid for it. It was so random. Well, she woke up the next morning with both a hangover and Daniel Ford inked on her backside. But the real Ford was now nowhere to be found. He was staying at the same hotel as me, but he was leaving that day. That night, that was their last hurrah. And that night was the last I ever saw him. She also added that she was not interested in having a holiday fling as she was in another relationship at the time.
Oh, that had to go great when you got back
Williams
home.
Later flew back to the UK and says her then boyfriend did not mind that she had another man's name permanently stamped on her bottom, and he laughed about it, apparently.
I'm guessing he never did work from behind.
A decade on, Williams, who is now a mom, says she has no regrets about her impulsive inking, as it reminds her of the fun vacation with her friends. However, she's recently been thinking about Daniel Ford and is eager to reunite with him. It would be good to get back in contact and just see if he remembers, she coyly said. If I do manage to find him, I have no idea what I'll say to him. Maybe I'll offer him his money back for paying for the tattoo. Who knows? She also is not with her boyfriend anymore.
Yeah, I'm guessing not.
Yes. So,
like, maybe he thought it was funny at first, but it's like, we were having a little action. Now to see Daniel Ford bouncing back and forth.
So our question today, quite simply, how does your butt figure into the story? 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Andrew. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, guys.
Hola!
All right, so I dropped out of high school in junior year, and then right around the time senior year was going to start, my dad was like, hey, man, like, you should go get a diploma. I was like, yeah, that's probably a good idea. So
solid parental advice right there.
Yeah, that's logical. So I went to an alternative school because I could make up the 6 months of junior year that I missed out on and still graduate on time.
Damn.
And basically, this is a place where they're going to hand you a diploma if you show up. And so all we would do all day is play basketball.
All right.
And so about halfway through that year, somebody brought up to me the fact that all the chicks were taking pictures of my butt because, I mean, it's not humongous, but it's like proportionally large.
Is it a bubble? Is it a bubble butt?
It's a bubble butt for sure.
Right.
And I always claimed it was a baseball butt, but like I haven't played baseball since I was like 13. So like,
but if you haven't,
was that the Kirby Puckett relationship right there? That brother had a huge ass. Yeah. I mean, he was a great player, but every time he went to the plate, you're like, I can't stop looking how big this ass is.
But there are a lot of baseball players who do have a butt. That's because of all the squats they do and everything. Right. Yeah, totally.
Well, yeah, you're squatting all day long at practice usually. So anyway, one of the chicks that, thought, I don't know what it is about chicks and butts. I don't get it, but she thought it was cool that I had a big butt. She thought it was kind of cute. And now I've been married to her for 5 years.
Oh, wow. Look at that. Well, look, man, like especially catchers. They're up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down. And I mean, all they're doing is working their butt. I mean, yeah, you're watching them. You're watching them in a baseball game, but don't think for a minute they don't practice for hours and hours and hours and hours. So, yeah. So
absolutely. That's the one position.
Uh-oh. Is he on?
Hello.
Hey, look, and guys don't mind talking about other guys' butts. Do you see the butt? Because we're shocked. Yeah. I mean, we know that guys out there have big penises, and everybody's built differently, whatever, but there's something about a butt. We're like, look at the butt on that dude.
You just never expect a giant ass on a guy.
Or just anyone that's kind of shapely or whatever.
But even if you take like a drawing class, and it's anatomy, right? When you do the backside of people, they go like, look, if you're doing like the naked male, basically it is a square. When you do the average woman, you kind of curve it out. Even though your butts aren't built that way all the time, but you're right. When you see a dude with a bubble butt, it's just weird, man. Like, why do you have a bubble butt? Like, to me, it's a waste. I would like Taylor Swift, good looking woman, but I'd like to take his bubble butt and put it on her because she is of the long back. Right? I mean, she has no butt at all.
Oh, it's better than you think. Are you sure? I sat pretty close to her.
Now,
I'll show you pictures.
I've seen millions, and I always
not that I took pictures of her butt, but
I
took pictures of the concert.
But I always look for her butt. So, like I said, like when Kirby Puckett was up to bat, couldn't help but stare at his big ass. Every time I see a picture of Taylor Swift, it's like there's got to be a sign that there's a butt.
There was a guy named Nicely who used to be. He lived a couple doors down from Ted. And one of Ted's first apartments here in Seattle. Nicely was a good guy. He would come over and smoke weed. And, basically he was a barista, I believe.
That's correct.
He might have moved to San Diego. I can't remember what happened to Nicely. But either way, before we even meet him, Ted's like, yeah, my buddy Nicely's coming down. It's like, oh, cool, that's cool. You got to check out the butt on this guy, man.
Yeah, he was like, dead serious.
It's insane. See, that's not too bad.
Well, I'm looking at a picture of Taylor Swift. Come on, man. Listen, it's not that she has a bad butt. I'm saying she has no butt. I'm looking at.
I wouldn't say that she's got a booty, but she's got a butt.
I mean, she has a butt because, God damn it, you have to have one.
I don't have a butt.
You're born with a butt, so she has a butt.
What?
But then that butt does nothing else. It's literally just a butt. It's like, hey, I'm just here for you to sit on and poop out of. Right? I'm not here to be seen. I don't want to be noticed. I don't like guys. There's just nothing there. I mean, like, it's fine, but it's just like anatomically you have to have a butt, and that's all her body did.
Yeah.
I mean, right? I feel like that's a fair description. I don't have a butt either. Like, we have the same butt. The difference is I'm not attractive. I think she is. I would like to see her with a butt. Right? I don't know there's anything wrong with that. Yeah. I'd like to see me with a butt, but I'd really like to see her with a butt. I just feel like her butt just quit. Like, oh, go ahead. You can write songs. You can sing a little bit. We'll make you famous, but I refuse to be a real butt.
Pants becomes a problem.
What do you mean? When you don't have a butt?
When you have a butt.
Oh, as far as just keeping them up.
Yeah. Well,
totally.
The thing is that, like you said, men have a more square figure. So
we got square butts.
Like myself, if you have a bigger butt, well, then the pants that you get, they just absolutely, it looks like your legs are in bells because they're just...
Well, right. Do you have a bigger butt?
I got a big butt.
Do you really have a big butt?
I got a lot of fanny, man, yeah.
Okay, all right.
I don't. So I don't know.
That's why you can see people wear pants better just based on the fact that they have an ass. With me, my pants are constantly falling down. Not falling down, but they need some help.
Sure. They don't look good, right?
Nothing to hold them up with. Like suspenders would be my ultimate game if that was, something that was acceptable. But I'm not wearing suspenders.
You can wear suspenders
with a T-shirt.
Come on, man.
Sure.
Come on, rock the suspenders.
I could do that, man, if I had a squeegee in my hand. Right. That's about it, right?
No, you just wear an undershirt.
What's your wash? Okay.
Just wear an undershirt, put the suspenders on there, then you toss a T-shirt over the top.
Or overalls are making a comeback, right?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, I could do that too.
Are they?
Well, I mean, I've seen a lot more than I've
I
seen
saw
in
a
long
couple
time.
people at the show on Saturday that were wearing overalls.
Really?
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm sorry, Thurl, but after the conversation about butts, I really want to see your wife's butt because it has to be amazing because you sound like a man that likes butts. Her butt's just fine. Yeah. I like my wife's butt, but, like, it's present. That's all I'm saying. It's not like the biggest, greatest ass in the world, but you look at it and go like, all right, she's got an ass. And I'm just saying, somebody here says Taylor Swift is gorgeous and has a perfect body, including butt. I'm not kicking her out of bed, brother. I just say, I wish she had a bigger butt. And even from the back, look, I looked at that picture. It's like your butt is there because biology says it must, but then it makes a noise. And it's like my butt. Looking at her butt is like looking at my butt. Keep that in mind next time you look at Taylor Swift.
I don't want to think
she has the ass of thrill. Let that go through your head.
How does your butt figure into the story? 206-421-ROCK.
99.9 KISW. The shenanigans continue. This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
How does the butt figure into the story? 206-421-ROCK.
Now people commenting about butt sizes. Talking about Taylor Swift. And so, look, she just has no butt, right? So one person says, guys, Miley Cyrus is the one with absolutely no ass. You don't know where her back ends and her butt begins.
That is true.
It's like cutting legs out when you're making paper dolls. Ain't nothing there. Like when the frog on Looney Tunes was stand up and dance around. No ass. Wow. Somebody else says Taylor Swift is my next ex-wife. She could have an ass that's inverted. Don't matter to me.
Tell you what, man. She looks pretty good close up.
Yeah, I mean, listen. I know she doesn't have an ass. Well, she has an ass like me, but I'm not kicking her out of bed. Someone else says, I remember basic training, was getting fitted for one of my uniforms. I was like 19. Anyway, a real southern black lady stops me and goes, honey, you ain't got no ass, when she was trying to measure me up.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's being honest. And then, you're talking about my wife's ass, right? I will say this regarding her ass. We went skiing years ago. And it's the first time we went skiing here in the Pacific Northwest. I got to rent skis or whatever. So I'm standing in line. I think I smoked a cigarette or something like that. So I'm getting back in line. She's still waiting in line. So when I walk back into the place that you rent the skis, I walk up behind her and slap her ass. And she turns around, and it is not my wife. It is a woman who is dressed exactly.
Black ski pants,
yellow jacket, hair pulled back in a ponytail. And when she turns around and I realize this is not my wife, it gets real awkward real quick. And her boyfriend, keep in mind, I'm 6'4". This dude is towering over me. And the look
he was a pretty big dude. I forgot about that.
And he is mean mugging me. And I'm profusely apologetic. Like, I said to my wife, she's standing right over there. My wife's just smiling at me like, well, I'll let you deal with that. Yeah. But as far as asses go, there's a woman that used to work in this building. I cannot explain how gorgeous her. And she had one of those asses, like when you looked at it, you inadvertently made noise out loud. You got like David Lee Roth. Like she walked by and you're like, sorry. Yes. I mean, you couldn't help it every time she went up.
Well, you do that. I mean, we both do that to an extent, but you're louder than me.
And I don't do it.
I'll go like, good God. But you'll be like, oh my God. I'm just like, Jesus, man. They just turned around.
I know. I don't do it on purpose. It's like stubbing your toe. It's hard to stay quiet sometimes.
How does the butt figure into the story? 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Scott. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Hola, bitches.
Hola.
So, back in the 70s, it used to be quite the thing to get BAs. I mean, that was just a popular thing, and I flashed many of BAs. Well, my buddy, we weren't old enough to drive, but his brother was, and so he was taking us around in an old Catalina. Don't know what year it was, but all I can say is the back windows, they only rolled down halfway. And so we decided I started flashing BAs out the window while he was driving us around, and he hit a pothole, and my satchel dropped over on the other side of the window. So my butt and my satchel are both hanging outside the window.
Oh, God.
And I can't pull my butt in because my boys are jammed up against my butt.
Right.
And so Bernie, he's the one that's driving. He's taking us. He gave me a tour of town, man. I mean, we went past Denny's. We went past every shopping center.
And is your ass still hanging out as he's taking you on the tour?
And the boys on the other side of the window, yeah. And so, we got quite the tour of town. And, well, finally he says, well, I don't know what to do, man. He says, I guess I'm just going to have to take you to your parents, and they'll have to deal with this. Well, that was enough to suck it up, man, for, better lack of words. And I just give a quick yank in the window, and everything came inside with a little bit of pain.
Can't say that. No doubt about that.
Once again, bedroom callers, here are the 7 words you can't say on the radio.
Clockwork, man.
Sucker, mother, and please keep those words in mind when calling. Now, back to the program.
I can't leave you guys for a second.
Every time.
Every time
single
you
time.
walk out of the studio.
Luckily, I was on my way back in here. So.
Did you hear the guy's story?
Just so you understand, technically, we all have dump buttons in here in case one slips.
Sure.
Mike typically hits those across the way.
And
then I hit the button that says, these are the words, right?
Right.
Every time he walks out, you can just tell by the caller that this is going to happen.
Oh, guaranteed.
It doesn't matter if it's an 80-year-old woman, like, oh, boys, and all the S-bombs, and like, oh, no.
Yep.
But you just hear it coming.
If the Pope called into this program and Mike left the studio, the Pope would drop an F-bomb.
Mm-hmm. He would cuss. So I had a similar story. We were 18, 19 years old, headed down to spring break in Florida. And we get to South Carolina-ish or whatever, but there were 2 or 3 weeks of spring break, and there were different destinations. So some kids would go to Panama City. Some kids would go down to Daytona Beach. It just depended. Fort Lauderdale, where your destination was. And a lot of schools went to specific places, where everyone's like, all right, we're going to Panama City if you live in Auburn or whatever the deal is. So we get going down 95, and we pass a car that's, kind of, it's got the stuff on the window, spring break or bust.
Right.
Whatever the deal was, 1990, here we go. The car was from, I don't know, South Carolina, North Carolina, and it's a car full of girls. So they started writing notes on pieces of paper, and they were putting them up in the window and passing us, like, eat me, whatever the deal was, just dumb stuff, They were flashing their boobs, and at one point in time, we're like, all right, this is not so bad.
No, that is not so bad.
But they go by, and this girl, she has got her ass just exactly like he said, hanging out of the window.
All right.
So we're just like, oh my God, this is too much. So, of course, my buddy Chad, who's driving the time, he puts on the brakes a little bit, lets them go by. Now we have to come up with a strategy. And the strategy has to be based, they're still in the fast lane.
Right.
So the guy behind Chad in the passenger seat and back, it's his job. He's got to be the one to stick his ass out the window. But the idea was, Chad was doing it in a stealth kind of way, so they really couldn't see the car. The car was just kind of weaving behind, hiding behind other cars, and he just gun it. And then my buddy Brian would just hang ass out the window. We'd pass them, and you could just see them just losing their crap and laughing. Then, 5 more miles down the road, they're behind us, but they're coming up with a way where now they can hang 2 asses out the window.
Right.
So they're coming up with their next strategy. And the next thing you know, you just got 2 asses hanging out. We did this for probably an hour. And it was one of the dumbest, funnest things. It was so stupid, but it just killed the time better. And you're always like, all right, here they come. And they were just...
How were those asses?
Everyone was 19 years old.
Sure, so great.
Yeah, it's the best your ass is going to look, probably.
Do people still moon all the time? I feel like when I was about
that was a thing we did.
But I did it all the time, too, but at the same age. There was 3 years where mooning people, for whatever reason, was just the thing to do. And if you had the chance to moon someone, and it didn't matter who it was, it didn't matter where you were, you just mooned them. And people generally would laugh. No one got upset. I remember we went to moon the UPS truck, all right? So we're all drinking at my place, and there's this gorgeous chick. I wish I could remember her name. Gordon's in there with us. So me and 3 other guys, we're going to go outside to moon the UPS thing. And she's like, you know what? I'm going to moon them too. We're like, all right. So we kind of time it out. I thought I was being strategic, but apparently all men think the same. So we all moon this guy, but as he's driving by, we all lean our heads back to look at her ass. And it was fantastic.
Oh, right.
I don't know if she knew or not, but I'm like, that UPS guy, he was happy she was part of it.
We would do it just if somebody was coming over and we knew it, people would just knock on the door. Most of the time, though, people would come in. But if they did knock on the door, which is like, dude, somebody would jump up, run into the hallway real quick, hang basically kind of like the movie Waiting. It was more satchel than it was butt, so to speak. Kind of like you're tucked.
Yeah.
And the person went, come in. Like, oh, God.
Right.
I didn't even see that.
Somebody here says, I got suspended from elementary school for mooning the principal, and it was after school. Oh. They say I was actually mooning cars, but my butt was in his direction, and he would not accept that it was not meant for him. But my dad laughed. You ever mooned anyone, Mike?
I'm pretty sure I have. I just don't. It was never public. it was, my siblings when I was younger or my cousins or something like that. It was never, not in my teenage or beyond life have I moved someone.
I think that Mike should move everyone a pain in the grass.
Oh, God.
I think we do the stage announcement. You get 10,000 people to cheer your ass.
Just rip
your
my
first
ass down.
public mooning. Yeah, man.
Oh, God.
And arrest. How does the butt figure into the story? 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Fritz. Welcome to the men's room.
Smoking a pancake, fellas.
Hola.
I called you guys 3 years ago after I got in a motorcycle accident. I got rear-ended, pardon the expression, on I-5.
Okay.
So speed limit on the way home, broad daylight, riding a Harley Davidson. This guy takes me out. We're doing at least 65. So I go up over his vehicle. I don't remember it, but the first thing that hits the ground is my backside. So when I wake up, I get through everything. I basically, from my waist down to my ankles, I don't have any pants.
Oh, no.
So that charred smell that you get when chicken feathers are burning, that's what skin smells like, and that's what pretty much my whole right cheek was.
Ooh, where did they take the skin to graft you?
So they just let it go. I had to leave it open. I spent the next 2 weeks face down on the living room floor with no pants on.
Sorry, man.
Did you have like pebbles in there or any kind of, like debris?
Yeah, kids didn't have any friends over for a while.
Oh, so how old were your kids?
So you mean your kids would walk in and you're just standing there with your no pants on and your butt sticking up in the air?
That's it. Yeah, kind of doing the old Burt Reynolds pose just on one side.
Now, what about eating? Did you just stand up to eat or was that...
Yeah, I stuck to a severely liquid, fibrous diet. I did not need to have any effort because there was a lot of pain in my tailbone also.
And you also probably couldn't sit on the toilet.
No, that did not work out very well. That was, to this day, so that was April 3 years ago, I still have issues, but it's just something I got to live with.
How did you poop if the toilet wasn't the thing?
You squat.
Did you squat?
Yeah, up until about 6 months ago, I was still taking a heavy dose of stool softeners just so that it would be easier.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, man.
Yeah, sometimes when Mike, I'm trying to tell Mike about the benefits of, taking a fiber product at night.
Sure.
And Mike will be in there in the morning doing his thing. And I'll walk in and be like, dude, don't worry about it. It's going to take 30 seconds.
Right.
Boom. And I'm flushed and I'm out. I'm like, man, that's NASCAR speed. Changed all 4 tires. Got a new Phillip. Got gas.
You did, sir. That was a straight up pig crew that you
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's one of the benefits of, well, not one of the benefits, but when you have hemorrhoids, you don't want to spend a lot of time there.
Sure.
So I was kind of doctor taught how to just really get that operation over.
Get that flow going.
Get it over with quickly as you can to prevent any further injury,
Kind of on that note, somebody here says, I have IBS. My butt is always part of the story and always has something to say about the situation.
I bet.
Man, oh man. I knew a person who had flown into town for the Chili Peppers concert. Not this most recent one, but the last time they played here like 3-4 years ago. She, with 2 of her friends, flew across the country to come here to go to the Chili Peppers. And before we went to the concert, we stopped at a restaurant. And we all sat down and ate. We got a little something to drink. And then we're just going to walk over to, it was then Key Arena, now Climate Pledge, to see the show. So we all go outside. We settle up the check. I'm out there smoking a cigarette, and we're waiting for her because she had to go to the bathroom. No big deal. Well, we're out there for like 10 minutes. It's like, where the hell is she? And then my wife gets a text from her that says, hey, can you just meet me inside real quick? And then my wife goes in, and my wife's gone for like 10 minutes. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, man. I mean, all she was doing was poop, and what's the problem? Well, she did poop, and she did poop in the bathroom. However, she pooped in her pants in the bathroom.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So she ended up missing the Chili Peppers concert. There really wasn't time. So the problem.
Is this the one at Key Arena?
Yeah, a couple of years ago.
Yeah, where all the lights came down? Oh, no.
She was supposed to be there. See, she bought the ticket, she bought the plane ticket, the whole night. Literally pooped in her pants.
Do I know this person?
Yes, you do. They have red hair.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
So she pooped her pants.
Oh, man.
And basically she needed something to, like, tie around her waist so that she could get an Uber to go back to my place so she could get her drink.
So she missed the entire show?
She missed the entire show, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Literally because she pooped her pants. But like I said, she did poop in the bathroom. She just pooped in her pants in the bathroom.
Damn.
How does the butt figure into the story? 206-421-ROCK. Look, I've been there. I've done it. Just not, unfortunately, in that kind of situation before.
Oh, yeah. Well, the thing is, she didn't want to walk back to the restaurant.
But why? I don't even want to get into an Uber. This guy knows.
But there's no other way for her to get. She wasn't
I
going to walk.
understand that, but what I mean is, you got a half-an-hour ride.
Yeah.
And you smell like
smell
crap.
like poop.
Yeah, because you pooped yourself.
That's why I chuckle every time I tell the story. Not only did you poop your pants, you had to sit in an Uber, you missed the concert.
See, I don't get your Uber ride on that one, man, because I don't want the negative review.
No.
Oh, you're not using my Uber account.
No,
right? No,
yeah,
you
absolutely
need to
not.
use your own account
Absolutely
for this.
not, yeah.
I get stuck with the cleaning fee.
How does a butt figure into the story? 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Dave. Welcome to the men's room. Hello, Dave.
Hola.
Dave?
Hello.
You can tell he's there. We'll check back in with him. Hello, Jess. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
So, listening to the stories that while I was on hold, I thought of a few others, but I can't do this to Mike again and change up the story. So I'll just tell you guys. Basically, I have two very awesome cats that are really proud of their rear end.
Wait, your cats? You said you have cats, C-A-T-S?
Yes.
That are proud of their butts.
Oh, yeah. I'm pretty sure most cat owners can relate. So earlier today, I had to do some online classwork, and my cat just was really, really wanting to put his butt right next to my head. But this isn't like a one-time thing. The cats show their rear ends to each other, and they're both now, no longer able to reproduce. They're spayed, neutered, but they do this weird thing where they kind of like, I don't know if it's just an animal thing or whatever, but
no, this might be a your cat thing.
No, it's a human thing. The cat's doing it.
They have an attraction to, butts. And I remember from a previous call that I told you guys a story about a 7-Eleven incident that I had. This guy told me about Arizona iced tea and how it might loosen up my rear, I guess.
Are you talking about the cat's butt or your butt?
No, he held up this can of Arizona iced tea and he said, I bet this will loosen up your area.
All right.
And I didn't know, but you guys clarified that you can only say the word butt and you can only say the word hole, but not in the same sentence. That's why for the only ever time I got booted off of calling in. And so our cats, they kind of do this thing where they're just really proud about it. Well, so this new thing has been happening where I don't know what it is, but they will like literally, just show off their areas there, and they make this face though where they're just like, oh.
Well, that's what cats.
So
they tend to put their tail up in the air a lot.
They do, but my cat doesn't specifically walk over to me just to show me her ass. I see her ass because she walks away, but she does not come up and say, "Hey, check out my ass."
Anybody else in the Arizona iced tea bowl?
I can say ass?
Yeah, say ass.
Yeah. You just can't say them together. You already told us that.
Yeah, got that.
Okay,
Tracking.
all right. Okay, I'm going to try to
Does this happen a lot? Your cats are always showing you their butt.
Well, basically, it's become a new thing, though. My male cat, he's not even 2 years old yet, and today I was just trying to do my online studies, and he was just really like, hey, check out my rear end. And I'm like, dude, get out of here. And then he starts, knocking stuff off of the table and just was like, look at my ass. And I'm like, dude.
Okay.
I don't know if it's, is that a normal cat thing? But, it's definitely butt stuff.
Listen, maybe it is normal. I'm not a veterinarian. I don't know the cats are into, quote, butt stuff. Not so much that my cat would start knocking things off the table, demanding that I look at his glorious fuzzy ass. This makes no sense to me.
Mine is from time to time. She'll just stand there with her butt facing me.
How close?
This is normal cat behavior.
It is normal cat
behavior.
that's
what they do. They want to,
They stick their butt in places.
That's it.
Well, I mean, I put my butt
What
in
was the
places,
Arizona iced tea thing about?
What do you mean now?
When you got off the highway there with the Arizona iced tea and the van?
She was referring back to a call that she had made some time ago
gotcha.
to let us know the word she couldn't say.
And then get back on the highway.
And then came right back to the cat story.
Okay. So that was just...
Okay.
It's kind of like
this was all her being at home. Her cats were doing nothing but shoving their butts in her face.
But then now
and so then she shoved her butt in their face, and there's photo evidence of it.
And then we went into a convenience store and got an Arizona iced tea.
Oh,
correct.
She didn't tell me that part.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break and come back with more of your calls and your question. How does the butt figure into the story? 206-421-ROCK.
Looking for a better way to deploy teams in real time, respond to changes quickly, and empower more informed decisions? Cantata's purpose-built technology for professional services can help. Visit cantata.com today. Cantata.com.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith. Thanks for listening to the Men's Room Daily Podcast. Want more? Check out the greatest podcast in all the land, the podcast. Be sure to subscribe and listen to a brand new episode every Tuesday night.
99.9 KISW. We return to the men's room with Miles and Thrill.
Men's Room Roasted Red Salsa. Man, is it tasty and delicious. San Juan Salsa Company. And our only Ted Smith, the head chef. I mean, some of the best salsa you will ever have in your life. We are not just saying this.
Not at all.
The ingredients are fresh. The taste is amazing. Mm-hmm. You're like, man, why did they let the men's room put their name on this? It's so good.
They don't deserve it.
This actually has taste.
Oh, my God.
That is very good salsa, man. Very good.
KISW.com has a complete list of all the locations that are currently carrying the men's room roasted red salsa. Keep in mind, some of those spots are already sold out.
Yeah. We one of the spots on Camino Island, I believe it was. Oh, man, I can't remember the location, but they were completely sold out. And they said they sold out in a few days.
Good.
So if you see it, buy it.
Friday Harbor Marketplace. Friday Harbor is carrying the salsa. West Seattle Thriftway, Mossy Back Farm Produce. And Stanwood also has the salsa among the handful there of the locations. All right, our question today, how does the butt figure into the story? 206-421-ROCK.
We got a text here that, one, it's about the butt, but I would also say, if you're considering trying meth, let this be a lesson to you. So the text says, I was homeless for about a year and addicted to meth and drank several Hurricanes every day. Let's just say my stomach was a mess. I crapped my pants more than I ever have in my life. But one time really stood out when I was running to the nearby gas station. But before I could get there, everything let loose and it went down both my legs. So I had to hide behind in the shed next to the place and try to clean up, but I had nothing on me. Ended up waddling over to the shed where I was staying. Well, there was some, the way the text is broken up. So I waddled back over to the little shed that I was staying at nearby to grab extra clothes. And the chick who was staying there ended up gagging and running out of the room as I walked by. Then there was some old homeless lady who was having a medical condition, so an ambulance came and I had to walk by them as well. Meanwhile, the way this broke up. Damn it. Long story short, since this text is broken up weird, he had diarrhea running down his legs the entire time in front of plenty of witnesses, and finally had to go into a bathroom to clean himself up.
That's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Don't you remember, man, you could be back in the days when everyone was in the office. So it was a full house. You could be sitting in your office at your desk. As soon as you fart, the most attractive person you work with will open that door and stand 2 feet away from you for the first time in your life.
Oh, yeah, of course.
You've never even really had a conversation with them. You don't even know their name. And just whatever the deal is, it's just like, and then 5 more people come in.
It's a guarantee.
Oh, God, what happened in here?
I remember farting outside, walking with Miles, middle of the street, just I turned around, there was a hot chick like 3 feet behind us. No idea she was there. It's like, oh, my God.
First time I ever met Jolene. Back when I don't think I was still an intern for you guys. I think I had officially started work. No, I was interning, sorry. And I was in the other studio. I was doing technical stuff. I might have been cutting best ofs. I don't know exactly what I was doing, but I remember I was in the producer studio doing my thing. Nobody's coming from anywhere. So I just went out and I cracked one, and it was bad. Not 3 seconds afterwards, Jolene walks in.
Of course.
First time
That's
I have ever met her. I'm a new person here.
Every single time.
And she knows you did it.
Yeah,
I remember being in my Uber, man, and the whole Uber fills with the smell of fart. And obviously, there's the driver and there's me. I know it's not me, so I know it's him, but he knows that I know that he's farted. There's no way. And our eyes met in the rearview mirror for like 1 second, and it was a real awkward 1 second. I mean, it was just like, damn, man. I mean, it was like thick bad. So then,
just roll the window
I'm not
down?
going to, well, so I'm not going to say anything. It is what it is. But maybe 3 seconds later, he cracked the back windows for me. You know, and I thought, like, do I say thank you? You know, because I'm not trying to drive this point home, but it was just understood. It's like, God damn. I was with a guy, man, our old bathroom, I'm taking a dump. And I want to say maybe he worked maintenance or something like that. I don't see him. I'm in the back stall, like I'm pooping. And the door opens, and it's real quick footsteps. Like, this guy, he has to lay down the law, right? But as he's closing the door, he has this thick accent. I just hear him say, it's going to stink. I was like,
thanks for the heads up,
I said, hey, man, what did you say? Are you talking to me? Because I don't know if you, I think, I'm sorry, it is going to stink. And I mean, right after he says this, you just hear,
oh, God.
And he was not kidding.
Oh.
It's like, oh, my God, dude. Sorry. I'm very sorry. Jesus.
Hey, you're in the right place for it, man.
Just change it.
Oh, my God. Ted farted one time, and it filled up the entire floor we were on.
The floor.
It was insane.
But the thing is, Hair Club was still our boss at the time. And because I'm the notorious farter, he assumed it was me. So the show goes to break, and he kicks open the door and starts yelling at me. And I'm like, man, that wasn't even me. He's like, BS. You don't want to fart all the time, the whole goddamn hallway. Because Jolene, she was there.
Oh, yeah.
She gets up and leaves and, like, mean mugs me, man.
Ryan got up and left. Everyone left.
I think I've got that
Everyone
somewhere.
left.
And I'm like, it wasn't me. No one believed me.
I might actually have that audio somewhere. Hey?
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, I mean, that was one of the thickest farts I have ever smelled in my life, dude.
How does the butt figure into the story? 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Michael. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
How you guys doing?
Doing great, man. Thank you, brother.
Excellent. All right, so here's the story. So me and my buddies, we owned an adult entertainment company back a few years ago, early 2000s. So we're in L.A., and we had to do an interview at the radio station, right? So we leave the hotel. I think it was about me and my boy, and I think about 6 girls with us, right? So we're in the limo driving to the radio station. So the limo driver, all I remember is we're going up this hill, and he's flying. I knew we were going fast. Next thing I know, bam, I'm airborne. So I'm in the back, like in the middle, the seat that's all the way in the back.
Yeah.
Airborne, it is chaos. And I land in Joy's butt. So, I guess it ended up being like an airbag, but in the limousine. So it was, when I tell you, I don't know, you'll never want to crash in a limousine. Everybody was bloody. I thought I broke my neck.
Oh, my God.
I didn't really break my neck. Yeah. And then, I was like, well, Joy, thank you very much. And yeah, it was crazy.
What did the driver say to you guys?
Oh, I thought he was dead. How he rear-ended this guy.
Oh, no.
And the engine was almost in the car. And he jumped out. He was dizzy. And we were like, dude, we are about to sue the S out of you, man. You're done. And we all felt like, so mind you, it was kind of like a neighborhood. It was like not far from, we're somewhere in Hollywood. And so it's just all these hot girls and me and my boy on the sidewalk laid out. Oh, we ended up at Cedar Sinai. Oh, that was a riot. They were like, who are you guys? Yeah, and we had to tell them, what we did for a living and who these girls were. Oh, it was crazy.
I guess you probably didn't make the interview.
No, we didn't make it. We did not make it.
Yeah. Go figure.
Yeah.
I could that
Say
would be
bye,
terrifying.
bud.
That would be terrifying.
Yeah, in a limo, man, right?
Yeah.
Do they even have seatbelts in the back?
Well,
I've never thought to look for one, but
here's the thing. The guy that drives us now, Rich, he's got his S together. There's no problem with that. But we have been in situations before where every single member of the air staff is in this vehicle, and the person driving was a questionable driver.
Yeah.
And we all just thought, okay, one wrong move here, and they're going to have to flip formats.
Yeah, for real. I remember our boss was like, maybe
or they're
you
just
guys
not going to have anybody go on the air.
But just don't all travel together again. It's like I literally have to take the station off. Nobody would be left.
No.
Good times.
How does the butt figure into the story? 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Dave. Welcome to the men's room. I'm going to keep checking with Dave. Hello, Nicole. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
How y'all doing?
Doing great.
Good, Nicole. How are you?
I'm doing good. So I do have to preface and apologize because this isn't my story. This is my brother's, and he hates it when I tell it. But
then I want to hear it.
He says, how does the butt figure into the story? Whose butt that is? That's not on us.
Nope. All right. So 4 years ago, it's about 11:30 at night, and I'm starting to fall asleep, and I get a phone call from my brother. He's in college, so I'm expecting it to be a dumb drunk call. And I answer it with a smart aleck remark, and the response back is one of his friends. He's super shaky in the voice. He goes, hey, Nicole, your brother's in the ER right now. He fell down when we were having a party, and he busted his butt open on a window crane. And he got rushed into emergency surgery because he had torn it in 3 different places.
His actual orifice?
His actual orifice. The doctor told me in detail he had 2 internal rectal tears and 1 external.
Oh, my God.
When he pooped, it looked like a trident.
It was like the Mariner symbol.
Yeah, three things coming.
Oh, my God. How long did it take him to recover from this?
It took him a couple of weeks. He was in an ROTC program, and he basically was told he wasn't allowed to squat for 8 weeks. He couldn't lift weights, put any pressure on his poor little butthole at all.
Sounds like a children's book.
He couldn't walk for a while.
The poor little butthole.
So, his poor little butthole. So I know way too much about my brother's
rectum.
Downstairs area. Yes, his rectum now. So it's a great story, though. He hates that I tell it, but I think it's one of our special memories.
How old is he now?
He is 25 now.
Okay,
does he live in the area?
He does. He
Oh,
lives
good.
down in Puyallup.
Yeah, give his address. I'm kidding.
No, listen, I'll tell you what. In about 10 years, when he's around 35, he will bring up the story himself. He really will. I feel like at 25, you're still a little too close to it.
Yeah, I'm going to let out the story himself.
Yeah, by then, it's going to be like, you know what, man, I once tore my ass in 3 places on a window crank. God.
This guy was shot of the day, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't he?
Yes, he was.
Yes, he was. Australian Corey Norman has been handed an 8-match suspension for sticking his fingers up the backside of an opponent during the Super League match against the Warrington Wolves last week. Footage showed the 31-year-old player reaching between the legs of the Wolves' Oliver Holmes. He's been fined about $865 for the grade F charge of other contrary behavior. Norman pleaded not guilty, but the RFL said the chair of the tribunal and 2 side members, both former players, were entirely satisfied. His act was intentional. The footage of the incident showed a deliberate movement by Corey's left arm and hand over the top of Oliver and onto his buttocks, according to the ruling. At no point does the footage show a grabbing of the shorts to push Oliver Holmes down, as described by Corey. Holmes complained immediately after the act.
Yeah, but he did.
And the tribunal said his statement was also considered in proving the charge. He was handed a 10-match ban for a similar offense last year. Kenny Edwards of New Zealand, another player.
Come on, man. Don't be known for that.
You can't have beer afterwards if you do that during the match.
It's one thing when this guy's a dirty player because he'll trick
because
you.
of his finger.
Or he chop blocks. I would rather be known for that than he's going to stick his finger in the rectum.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How does the butt figure into the story? 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Russ. Welcome to the men's room.
Hello, gentlemen.
Hola.
Long-time listener, first-time caller. I'm really pumped to be on with you guys.
We appreciate it. Finally glad we got a subject you could relate to.
That's the ass.
Well, no, it's just that I usually don't have enough time to sit on hold.
Gotcha. Okay.
I got kids and that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I have 2 quick stories. The first being that when I was younger, my entire family used to race pro rally out in the woods, gravel roads, fun stuff. But a lot of times you would either wreck your car or break your car.
Sure.
And your family members would be behind you. And it was sort of tradition if you wrecked or broke your car that you stood on top of your car and mooned your family members when they went by.
All right. Is that a specific family tradition?
Sort of. It's just part of fun and racing. You want to, everything's timed in rally.
Right.
It's all about the seconds and that sort of thing. And so the best you could do to throw your competition's game off, the better you would come out in the end.
All right. Okay. No pun intended. Right.
Yeah. The other one is my family owned a very, very way out in the middle of nowhere tavern, just outside of Oakville and in between Oakville and Raymond.
Okay.
And we had a large group of people that decided that they were going to invest in a bus, so they would only have one driver that needed to be sober. And I used to tend bar there on occasion when my parents would go out of town and that sort of thing, and just sort of fill in where need be. And one night, as I'm closing down the bar and they are leaving, I hear a bunch of honking coming from the road. And as I looked out the window, every window in the school bus had a bare ass hanging out of it.
Sweet. That sounds about right. That's the way it should be.
Yeah.
I don't really think that's
what?
Obscene behavior.
Because it's a butt. I'm sorry, man. Like, is your butt considered part of your genitalia?
Who was it? The copper tone girl that had her butt showing one cheek because a dog was tugging in her bikini or something like that? It always just seemed like even little kids, they were yours. My parents have tons of pictures of me just with my butt hanging out.
Right, climbing into the bath. I feel like those are obligatory pictures.
Like a butt has never been one of those things to me that's been, even still, I know people have nice asses. Right. It's not like sexually, you're not exposing something offensive to me.
No, it's a butt.
I don't think a nipple's offensive either, but you understand. Like it's still the least offensive thing in the world.
I'll put it this way, and having mooned thousands of people in my life, generally the response, either they just shake their head because it's sad and pathetic and immature, or they just chuckle. But I feel like the response would be entirely different if I flash my dick.
If I'm sticking out my butt at you, that's obviously there's a reason behind it.
Is it really, though?
Yeah, because either I'm trying to make you laugh, I'm like trying to give you oh yeah, kiss my ass. Whatever the deal is, it's just, it's not, those aren't fighting words.
No.
That's a good point, right? You show me your ass, like, right, we're not going to.
If you about your thing and just start swinging around at me, I'm like, dude, put that back in your pants. Right.
Well, this is also established early on in our lives. I feel like kids is where you start mooning people.
Well, for sure.
So it's just everybody knows what mooning is.
And the other thing is, like, look, people always joke about plumber's crack.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so plumber
you see
comes
a lot
up,
of butt.
And you see their ass, right? But while you might not enjoy the sight, no one takes offense to it. If your plumber came to your house and his D is just hanging out in front of his pants, you'd be pissed.
You're going to say something.
Absolutely. Like, hey, man, pull up your pants or your flies down. So you're right. The ass, to me, it's like, it's fine. It's your butt.
Airing it out there, buddy.
Yeah. How does the butt figure into the story? 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Russell. Welcome to the men's room.
Hey, how are you guys?
Hola.
So my story here is, Buddy and I, we're fly fishermen, and we are, 3 hours from home, way in the mountains. We're out in the middle of nowhere fly fishing, and he has to go to the bathroom. He has to go number 2. And doing that in the woods is not the easiest thing to do anyways.
Right.
Let alone when you got to get out of your boots and your chest waders and all this other gear you got on. It's not easy and it's time consuming. Well, he didn't have enough time, man, and he ended up letting that whole thing go inside of his waders.
Oh, God. Well,
yeah, and I had no idea. He was just like, I got to go to the bathroom, so he went into the woods, and I'm waiting for him. A lot of time is going by. He's not coming back. Finally he shows up, and I'm like, all right, let's go. We're going to go fishing. No, man, I'm going to stay here next to where we parked. I'm just going to hang out here. Okay, whatever. At this point, I still have no idea. So I do my thing, man. I'm upstream fishing. By the time I get back, 7 hours has gone by. It's like 90 degrees out. It's the middle of summer, hotter than heck, 7 hours later, I get back, and he's waiting for me at the car. That's when he tells me what happened. And, it was a huge mess, terrible.
Was he able to clean up in that time?
He could have. That's the thing,
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's baby rash at times. Yeah, it's like a kid falling asleep in a dirty diaper.
Stripped down and rinsed off in the river, but he didn't.
He stood in
that's what I'm saying. He's got a river there.
He stood in his own poop for 7 hours.
Oh, yeah, for 7 hours, plus a 3-hour drive home.
What the hell? Oh, man, come on. You got a river there. That's what you do.
I would catch a whiff. We just didn't talk about it, right? We tried not to talk about it, and I'd catch a whiff of it, and I would just start laughing uncontrollably.
I cannot believe he didn't himself off. He had running water.
Right, you're next to a river.
You could actually just put those things in the river with the stream going down and wash them out, rinse out your underwear, wring them out, even put them back on wet, whatever you have, but it's not covered in fecal matter.
I don't think you have to explain it to anyone except his buddy.
That's
I feel like 100% of the people I know, if you pooped and there's a river in front of you, especially
I'm not getting out of the water. I'm squatting down.
In 7 hours, I would just assume that that's what you would do. Damn. 7 hours of poop.
How does the butt figure into the story? 206-421-ROCK.
Looking for a better way to deploy teams in real time, respond to changes quickly, and empower more informed decisions? Cantata's purpose-built technology for professional services can help. Visit cantata.com today. KANTATA.com.
99.9 KISW. The men's room returns with Miles and Thrill.
All right, how does the butt figure into the story? 206-421-ROCK.
Oh, here's a cute little story. I was posing for a picture with a bunch of little dogs on my lap. As I was smiling, one of the dogs backed up, and her butthole landed squarely on my teeth.
Oh, good times. Right.
Photo shoot over.
Why not?
Damn.
Hello, Dave. Welcome to the midroom.
Hello, Dave.
Also. Hello, Steve. Welcome to the men's room.
Hey, aloha, nui loa.
Hola.
How you guys doing today? Good?
We're doing great, man. Thank you.
Excellent. Good to hear. So, my story takes place back about 84. It was the 5th anniversary of my company. I got a huge bonus check from Playboy, and I said, well, we're going to go out and we're just going to have a party time. And
Did you go buy yourself some fakies?
No, not at all. Didn't have to. The girlfriend of my best friend was the manager of some swanky hairstyling place where they pick you up in a limousine and take you in to get your hair done and all that. So we took a bunch of the girls and we headed out and started having fun and started out at a bar in Bellevue and had a guzzling contest. And I won that, and I won some money and a bunch of booze. And then we headed off to the Rib, and they had a legs contest, which I'd been the judge for about 6 weeks. And when I showed up, they said I had too much to drink, so I couldn't judge. So I entered the contest, and the girls were freaking out. And I won second place. And the night was going great. I mean, we were having so much fun back in the limo, and we're going to end up meeting some people from the university, what's it called, the Washington State University. I was trying to land a gig to do the Water Bus Festival. So I said we'd meet them there and buy them drinks, and I had all this money. And we got to the Saratoga trunk, and they had this best buns contest. And the girls were going, come on, you got to get up there, you got to get up there, you got to get up there. And I was like, I don't know. And so they kept buying me shots and buying me shots. About 10 or 15 into it, the guy that was going to be last, I said, I'm in. They said, all right, get up there. And just as he was about done with his little dance thing he was doing, he kind of dropped his drawers and, was shaking it around. And I looking around, and they're all like going, yeah, and everyone was screaming. So I thought, God, I got to do that. So they called my name, and I walked up there, and I started dancing around. I'm a horrible dancer, and I was completely hammered, and I had these people there I was trying to get a job with. And so as I was dancing around, I just kicked off my flip-flops and dropped my shorts, kicked my shorts up in the air and dancing around, and everyone was yelling and screaming, and then it got kind of a weird yelling and screaming. And I didn't really realize it until I turned around that I didn't have any underwear on. And so I was in the middle of this bar with all these people, and the bartender came out and said, put your pants on. And I was like, man, it's too late. The song ended, and I won second place.
All right.
And the guy wearing tidy whities.
Well, you went all in.
Look at that.
You went all in.
Yeah, it's important to remember whether or not you're wearing underwear.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, man. In my early 20s, I thought going commando is the way to go. And it felt great for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
And then I zipped my D up, man, and from that day on, I have had underwear. Period.
Ted recommended the Woodstock 99 documentary.
Yeah.
So I finished that up last night. Episode 3 is the Sunday, who closes the show on Sunday night? Red Hot Chili Peppers. So most of the footage is shot from behind the band looking out into the crowd when it's on stage. Yes, they do show
Already know where this is going.
Right. Flea decided he was going to come out and not wear any clothes.
Right.
So all you see is his butt for half the segment. And then, when they get him in the front, he's swinging around and everything else. I'm just like, that takes bees, man.
Remember, that used to be their...
Well, they with socks, yes.
Yeah, when they were young guys, every show they played, the only thing they wore on stage were socks over their D's. That was it. That's what they were doing. So even if you didn't know the music of the band, someone say, have you heard of the Chili Peppers? You're like, that's a band that wear the socks under C's, right? Because the rhyme. You're like, yeah, that's them. So half the reason people went to the shows was for that reason.
Yeah.
I'm happy to say I've never seen them like that in all the time I've seen them.
How does the butt figure into the story? 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Tyler. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola. How you guys doing today?
Doing great.
Thank you, man.
So my story is a few years ago, I had a different job than I have now, but I was doing construction, new construction. So we had demoed an old house in Queen Anne. And I'm sure you're familiar with the area, very hilly houses and stuff.
Yeah.
So we had destroyed two properties, one in the front, one in the back. And we had a fairly new guy working with us. His name was Tone. He's a great guy. If you're listening, buddy, I'm sorry. But there's this big massive hill from the excavation, because for the foundation we had to go way further down than we thought, and so the soil was just piled up, and so I got to the job site first, and he was right behind me, and we were just kind of doing some inspection, and so I kind of slid down the dirt pile instead of walking the long way around, going the safe way. And he followed me, but he kind of slid on his butt, and I kind of slid on my feet a little bit.
Right.
Anyway, there was a piece of rebar.
Oh, I knew where this is going.
Locked into the concrete, and it went about 4.5 to 6 inches up his ass.
Oh, God, man.
Right where the thigh is.
Hey, Jesus.
Once again, bedroom colors, here are the 7 words you can't say on the radio. Sucker, mother, and please keep those words in mind when calling. Now, back to the program.
Some other thing is having down at the Rebar Bar, near where we used to work. Yeah.
Oh, my God, man. That is,
dirty.
That is real dirty. That disturbs me.
Makes sense.
Much.
How does the butt figure into the story? 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Alan. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola. And just because it's out there, I have to. Dave's not here.
Hey, he's still on the line, too. I'm going to check with him again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting all the texts every time it says, Dave's not here, man.
I think Dave passed out. He might be taking a nap.
It could be.
So, this was back 1968, and we moved into a house with the banister, and being a typical, 10 years old, you got to slide down the banister. And my little brother kept telling me, you're going to get a sliver. And I'm like, no, I'm not. So one day I slide down the banister, and it was 8 inches long. Went in my behind, and then it didn't poke out the other side, but you could feel it.
Jeez.
And of course, go to the doctor, that costs money. So my mom dug it out.
Yeah, look, man, for a splinter, even with insurance, no, we're digging this.
Yeah. So fast forward 20 years, come to find out, my little brother, because I kept sliding down the banister and he wanted me to get a sliver, had put a neck in it.
Oh, he did that to you on purpose.
Put a neck in the thing. So just so he's like, I didn't know it was going to be that bad, but it was him.
So he didn't tell you until 20 years later.
Yeah.
Well, I think as far as things go, statute of limitations probably passed on the anger.
I think you waited the right amount of time. Remember you got those, because at that point you're probably 25 to 28 years old. Like, hey man, remember when you got that splinter in their ass? I sabotaged you.
Yeah,
that was me.
Yeah. How does the butt figure into the story? 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Jose. Welcome to the men's room.
Hello, hola.
Hola.
All right, so I got a good one for you.
All right.
Okay, so this is 1994. I'm about 14 years old, and I live in the sprawling metropolis of Tenino.
Okay.
So I'm up on the roof, sweeping the chimney. I'm doing a good job. Stepdad's down below with the ladder, cigarette in one hand, beer in the other. So I, walking back down the roof, which is a very steep pitch roof, it's like a 12-8 pitch. At any rate, I slip and start to fall, and I'm going down right onto a bed of rocks. So he whips a beer in one hand, a cigarette in the other, grabs the aluminum ladder, and as I'm falling, pins me right against my left butt cheek, right into the wall of the house, and proceeds to scream to my mother, I saved his life! I saved his life! I saved his life! Didn't drop the beer, didn't drop the cigarette. Jose did not die.
Damn.
I like that. That is a dad move. Like, I'm going to save my kid, but I'm not putting down my beer or my cigarette.
Yeah, no, he pinned me up against the wall until my mom came outside and looked just so she couldn't refute it. You know what I mean?
Jesus. He needed those points. Like, I saved his life. You need to know, as opposed to just telling her later.
It's amazing how many parents make their kids do the most dangerous things. It's second floor. We had a 2-story house.
Yeah.
I put the Christmas lights up around the perimeter.
How old?
I mean, 10, 11, 12.
That seems to be the age. Where
it just seems like, I guess, they feel like if a kid falls, they're not going to get hurt as much as an adult.
No, I think it's more this. If someone's going to fall, I hope it's not me. Hey,
also, it was a two-man team, and I think from the safety standpoint, the adult was better to hold the ladder. I think it was more of a trust factor involved.
But that's when you want, like, your mom to come outside. Like, hey, why didn't Dad go up there? My father, man, I don't remember.
But I'm like, look, leave them up. That was my thing always. Leave them up. No one can really see them.
And then unplug them.
Yeah, right, that's it. And they're there. And all you got to do is just plug them in next year. We don't need to take them down. Like, they really aren't showing. Let's just leave the damn things up there.
My father, I remember, he was probably about 10 years old, same thing. I'm the smallest person in the house at the time. And he had pulled the oven partly away from the wall, and the countertops, like, basically met it on the side. But he needed someone to physically be behind the oven to plug something into the wall, all right? So he lifts me up by the armpits, puts me over there, and then just said, and I always remember this, I've never been this terrified in my life. He goes, oh, hey, and Stephen, remember, don't touch this part of the oven. There's like this black square. I'm like, all right. He goes, because if you touch it, you're going to die. Now, keep in mind, the space I'm in is like 3 feet, man. So I am shaking back there. That's what it was. I had to unplug something. But I was so terrified that if I yanked the cord out, my elbow goes back, hits whatever this thing was. But he was real serious. But in my head, I'm like, then why did you put me back here? Anyway, man, obviously, I got it done without dying. And he pulled me back out.
Get in the water. We're going to see if there's any sharks in here.
Right. Put your foot in the water. Yeah. No, cut your toe first.
Now swim out. Now keep swimming.
Keep going.
How does the bud figure into the story? 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Chris. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
So I was, I think, around 8, and my girl cousin and I were riding a bike together. She was riding on the seat, and I was pedaling. We were going down a hill, and we were hauling, and we hit a speed bump, and she popped off the back of the seat and came right down on the tire on the back. And, boy, that was a mess. And, yeah.
A mess.
And,
yeah.
Hospital, blood, really, really bad. Skin graft.
Ooh. You were flying.
Yeah. I mean, we didn't stop right away. We went for a minute. It threw me into the handlebars.
Yeah.
But yeah, because you listen, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Love you.
Well, it's crazy. You see a lot of bicyclists and they're flying.
Oh yeah.
And they've got all the speed racer stuff on. They look like they're about ready to being a triathlon or whatever. But there's, at times 40 miles an hour, 35 miles an hour, if not faster, depending on, hauling ass.
Oh yeah.
Now, if you wreck, you're not wearing leathers.
No.
You're not wearing jeans. You're not equipped like somebody who's on a motorcycle. And don't think for 1 minute that 40 miles an hour, 35 miles an hour can't take the skin right off your body, especially when you have absolutely zero protection. You're not wearing a leather coat. You do have a helmet on, and that's going to hopefully save your life, but the rest of you is going to be ground beef.
Without a doubt. My father rode hard. He used to, I believe, race bikes back when he was younger, but he was always kind of a biking enthusiast. And we would go out together on occasion, and I'd always try to just be faster than him. Could never do it. But anyway, he got a speedometer for his bike, and it would record your fastest time or your fastest speed of the day. So at one point, I remember I'm racing him, and where we lived is at the bottom of this one hill. So, I mean, we're both putting it on. And, I mean, he dusted my ass. But he said, look, you got up to about 38 miles an hour before I finally just put it on and dust. I'm like, wow, okay, man. So, and he got up to like 45. About a week later, he comes home. He says, come outside. He points down at his little speedometer thing. He goes, I want you to see my top speed. It was 57 miles an hour. But like you're saying, he's standing there in a pair of shorts and like a tank top. And that's it,
And very skinny tires.
Yeah, he had
that
super
point
skinny tires. Yeah,
that's just the way it was. Like if you had a racing bike back then, they were probably Italians, like a Bob Jackson or some crap.
It was an Italian bike.
Tiny, skinny tires. How does the butt figure into the story? 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Steven. Welcome to the men's room.
How's it going?
Hola!
So, we're about in our young 20s. Went up to Canada for the weekend. And went across, partied all night, stayed in a hotel, and on our way back home, we get the random search of our vehicle. And they pull us in, take all our licenses, and we're sitting there. And then they come out and they ask, whose bag is this? And my buddy Dave's like, well, that's my bag. And they're like, why don't you come with us?
Uh-oh.
So he goes back there, and he's gone for a little bit. And he comes out, and he goes, come on, let's go. And we're like, well, they got our license. And he goes, I got them, let's go. So we all head out, get in the car, and go to the Denny's across the border. And we're like, so what happened, Dave? I don't want to talk about it. I go, did they give you the glove? And he goes, I don't want to talk about it.
Oh.
So what had happened is he had a pipe in there. It was empty. But he borrowed a bag from his dad, the duffel bag, and it had a bunch of crumbs that was his old man's. And they actually made him call his dad, because he's like 20 years old, and talk to his dad about it, and his dad just tells him that he's going to get a stern talking to about it when he gets home, and his dad just is cracking up because he got the glove over some crumbs of his own weed.
Oh, my God. Yeah, it's always coming back. It's always coming back.
Right.
It's always coming back.
Where are you from? Like here, dumbass.
Here. God darn it. I mean, here's my passport, dude. What does it say?
Right. That's where I'm from.
Yeah. Didn't you ask for that first? Because you read it.
Right.
What do you think? I was like,
you just looked at that.
Oh, no, faking. Sorry, man. Really from Colombia.
I'm like, come on.
Got so much yay behind me here.
Never had to have my cavity searched. Or maybe I have and they didn't know it.
Who Sucks Less coming up? You are listening to The Men's Room.
What's up? It's your boy, The Ted Smith. Thanks for listening to the Men's Room Daily Podcast. Want more? Check out the greatest podcast in all the land, The Podcast. Be sure to subscribe and listen to a brand new episode every Tuesday night.
The debauchery rolls on. You're listening to The Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW.
Who Sucks Less coming up? First time for a few emails from The Men's Room at KISW.com.
You've got mail. You've got mail.
As we jump right into the birthdays, guys. Today is Madison's birthday. She is 5 years old today. Can you please tell her a happy birthday from Nana Bales? I love her too. How about a little kid fish sandwich there for Madison? What else we got here? Guys, got a little boy here, Daniel. He turned 6 today. Not too big for just one hand now, but he really just wants all of you guys to say his name, especially Mike. I found out this morning that Mike, you are his favorite.
Oh, yeah.
And don't worry, guys. He likes all of you too a lot. Just not the guy with the deep voice that does the intro to the top 10 list.
Oh,
and since we don't hear it too often, can I get a little taste of Mike's fast auction mouth for his listening pleasure before his favorite birthday song? Thanks, guys. That from Mom, Dad, Maya, the 15-year-old sister, and Grandma.
Betty bought some butter, but she said there's butter bitter. If I put it in my butter, it'll make my batter better. So she bought a bit of butter, put it in her bitter batter, made her bitter better. So there's better Betty bought a bit of butter.
It might be mayo. I don't know.
Might be mayo. Maya.
Guys, today is my son Chinook Spar's birthday. He is 26 years young. Can the men in the men's room give him a shout out? Maybe some dirty German and a huge bong rip and a fish sandwich. Thanks, guys. Your longtime fan, rockaholic mom, Stephanie.
2 Oregon fish sandwich.
Yeah, happy birthday to you. But more importantly, what is up, Stephanie? If I stuff you the right way, you'll be Stuffany. That is what I will call you now. Stuffany. Or is it Stuff Fanny? Is that a request or is that your name? Stuffany.
Bitches, my girl turns 28 today, and I don't know if it's too late to request a shout-out, but here goes. Her nickname is Callie, and we are celebrating at the Mariners game against the Nationals. Since she loves eating at T-Mobile, can the Dirty German provide some insight into the proper way to eat at the ballpark? And a ballpark Frank. I love you guys. That's from Carl and Callie.
Yeah, I understand you're a Mariners fan, but let us be real. Times have changed. So when it comes to consuming a ballpark Frank, I believe it's the man Frank at the ballpark for the Oakland A's. You consume it face down.
Oh. What is that, relish?
Damn.
Men's room, gentlemen, it's my wonderful wife Kim's birthday today. Can she get a barbershop quartet fish sandwich and the Dirty German telling her how sexy she is in her new Buckin' Bronco? Enjoy the show, guys. Cheers.
Can I get a fish sandwich? Oh, you know I gotta eat right. Oh, brother, can I have a fish sandwich? You put the cheese and the tartar on the side.
Yeah, I'd let you take a ride in your Buckin' Bronco. Maybe I can get a little something to eat, like, some kimchi.
Guys, shout out to my mom. She is 38 today. Thanks, Mom, for listening to all my Minecraft stories. How about face sandwich medley? Your penis is too small. And Coach Ted talking about parenting rowdy teens. From your favorite child, Judah. Judah, we can do it all, but Coach Ted's on vacation.
Can I get
a filet of fish sandwich?
Oh, you know I got
I'll have a fish sandwich.
Oh, brother, can I have a fish sandwich?
Do I get a fish sandwich?
Put the cheese and the tartar on the side.
I'll order a fish sandwich.
Is it too early for a fish sandwich? Cheese and tartar on the side.
Oh, yeah.
I smell the fish sandwich. Maybe some dinner relish in the morning. At noon and at night.
Can I buy you a fish sandwich? Though you don't want a fish sandwich?
Hola, Miles. Can I get a birthday shout out to my dad? Tom is 65 today. He's an awesome guy, proud father and grandfather. How about you like that? A time to take off the leash. And could the captain give some advice about navigating the seas of retirement? Thanks, guys. That from Lee, Sonia, Mason, and Addie.
You like that? You like that? It's time to take off the leash.
Ooh. Oh, hey there. Well, you've come to the right place if you want to navigate the seas. They say you should navigate the 7 seas. And the captain does exactly that. The seas include the clitoris, the coochie, cleavage, cunnilingus, camel toe, cream, and crack. And I don't mean the drug, Miles. I mean crack as a destination. And if you want to add an 8th sea, well, nothing would be better than the Land O'Lakes lady man, Chico. He'll let you navigate anywhere. And the sea of eyes. Crunch berries. Jesus.
All right, guys, here we go. Happy, happy, happy birthday. Happy, happy, happy birthday. Happy, happy, happy birthday to you, to you, to you.
Ya's a Dirty Germans brought to you by Men's Room Original Sausage. Available through Uli's World Famous Sausage, mensroomlive.com, and other fine retailers. Schweinefleisch.
Thank you, Rob. A couple extra emails. Old Bacholas wanted to give you an update on the Men's Room roasted red salsa availability. Just got back from Camino Island, and it is completely sold out at Huntington's Corner Grocery. The owner said it sold out in only a few days. So I'll keep searching for some, but please have the head chef, have his people at San Juan send out more. Thanks, guys. That from Tim. By the way, if you have not tried this salsa yet, I'll just check out the complete list of locations we have now at KISW.com, including Huntington's Corner Grocer. We hope they reload.
I hope so. I'm glad people are enjoying it.
Yeah.
Tip responsibly.
See, even you point too.
God damn, why do we do that?
I don't know why.
It's weird.
Yeah. Guys, I want to thank Ted for his recommendation on Woodstock 99. I was not familiar with the events and thought it did a great job of showing what happened and why. Much like your Happy Hour podcast, it's definitely not for kids, as there is lots of nudity and the F-bomb gets dropped about 100 times. I'm glad they didn't make it PG-13 and made it feel gritty and showed just how many things went wrong. From all the corners that were cut to maximizing profit, to the poor choice of location, to how out of touch the promoters were. I also like how they showed how the anger at the promoters and the insane heat added to the chaos. It's only 3 one-hour segments, so it's very bingeable in one day. Thanks again, Ted. That from Shane and Shelton. We'll pass that on. Just finished it last
Shane
night.
and Shelton.
Shane and Shelton. Why did I get bullied? Catching up on the show there on the Odyssey app, this topic actually hits pretty close to home, guys. Why did I get picked on? Let me count the ways. Number 1, my dad was our school principal. So everyone who got in trouble or got a hack came after me. Plus all the teachers knew it, so I could never get away with anything. Number 2, I was the shy, quiet kid. Number 3, I was a bit skinny. I graduated high school at 5'11", 130 pounds. Number 4, I played tennis. Number 5, I was a band geek. Still am. Number 6, I was also the smart kid. If I didn't help people pass, they'd threaten to beat me up. Number 7, worst part, girls like me, but I was so shy, I did not know how to talk to them. Thankfully, I got through all of that. Love the show. That from Brian at JBLM. That seems to be the way life goes.
Yeah, pretty much.
Everybody gets their comeuppance and they figure stuff out.
Yeah.
Our subject is drinking and the doctor. Howdy, y'all. Every time I go get my yearly checkup, the doctor asks me the same question. How much do you drink? My response is, depends on how the day went. When I tell him 4 to 6 per night, he looks at me with such disgust and shock on his face. He adds, and you can function after that many beers? Yes, sir, I do just fine. It's when I have several shots of bourbon on top of the beer. I get the deer in the headlight look. But my chart numbers are all good. And from the Elk Plain Drifter. Sure, a lot of people's discussions with their doctors go similarly.
Yeah, I mean, because they're never going to say it's okay.
No.
It's like, yeah, I drink. But again, and I put this challenge out to doctors, all right? You ask me how much I drink, I give you the answer. You tell me it's way too much.
Sure.
Ask me how much, and you're probably right. But here's the thing. If you can't tell, doesn't matter. So I'm always saying, instead of asking me this stuff first, why don't you do the physical, and then you tell me what you think I do. Right?
Yeah.
Because if you do because every time I go to the doctor, you eat your vegetables. I'm like, I don't eat vegetables.
Yep.
I've not eaten a vegetable. We go through this every time. Right? And then they go on about the diet. I'm like, you just told me that I am in good health. And now you're telling me that everything I'm doing, I understand it's unhealthy, but it's working.
Your car is in perfect running order, but we want to change everything.
Right.
Hey.
Isn't that basically what you're saying?
Yeah. So if
your tires are fine, but you need 4 new ones.
That's all. And look, I know they're right, but it's like, if you can't tell, is it that bad?
Well, you could come crashing down all of a sudden. It's like, no.
You're absolutely correct.
You're wired the way you're wired.
That's right.
Your body runs the way it runs. I mean, it is what it is. It's not like your metabolism is going to slow down all of a sudden for no reason.
Right. Well, I hope.
All we ask is one thing.
Dip responsibly. God damn it, I pointed at him.
What people brought to the store. Guys, once upon a time, I was the overnight checker at a Safeway down the street from the bars in Kirkland. Now, I have seen a lot of weird or funny transactions. Highlights include the guy who bought tampons. Then his girl came in 3 minutes later returning them for a different brand. The girl's hiding by the door, while the guy on the night with a giant grin bought condoms and wine coolers. The girl buying veggies and lube. The guy buying an EPT and value box of condoms. The woman buying box wine and razors. But the number one was the guy who bought an EPT, condoms, and tampons. I couldn't help it, and I said, I don't know where you went to school, but if you need one, you don't need the others. He looked me dead in the eye and said, I have a wife and 2 daughters. Oh. I immediately shut the F up and looked away. Never commented on an order again. Rock on, bitches. That from the friendly IT guy.
Now, the men's room wants to know, who sucks less?
Yay! Time for Who Sucks Less. Tina Troy bring us 3 stories from the news each and every week. They all suck to some degree, but it's up to us to determine out of the 3 stories, which story sucks the least. Now, if you happen to follow KISW on Twitter, debate is already underway on Who Sucks Less.
Yes, indeed, and I'm just going to get into it. All right, we're just going to start with story number 1, but I'll see if you can notice the theme that ties them all together. A Chinese company sparked controversy after it was reported that it forces employees to eat raw eggs as punishment for not meeting expectations. It all started when a second-year university student, surnamed Du, took to social media to complain about his experience as an intern for a technology company. He claimed that the company had a bizarre rule where employees had to swallow raw eggs if they didn't get enough orders in a set period of time or otherwise failed to meet management expectations. He claimed to have had his internship terminated after he refused to obey the rule, adding that management made him write down, quote, personal reasons as a reason for ending the internship to absolve the company of any liability. Well, his revelation sparked outrage online. There's a video showing employees of the company nauseous while trying to swallow the raw eggs. That only added fuel to the fire. People called the practice inhumane, warned against the dangers of eating raw eggs, and called for those responsible to be brought to justice. Meanwhile, representatives of the company, which has not yet been publicly named, they didn't seem too bothered by the backlash. They simply said that eating raw eggs is clearly stipulated in the employee handbook, which leads me to believe this happened at CBS Radio China. The company said, quote, employees are responsible for the results in sales process, and rewards and punishments are clearly defined in the process of implementation. Without them, day-to-day management is impossible. So that's their defense. So like, hey, you don't meet expectations, eat raw. Next story. Three managers of a home improvement firm in China were recently arrested for subjecting employees to extreme punishment, including forcing them to eat cockroaches for not meeting their sales goals. The arrest came after an employee of the unnamed company took to social media to complain about the punishments that he and his colleagues were being subjected to by management for failing to meet their goals. Now, his post included a video of a topless man standing in the center of a room and being whipped with a belt by his boss while the workmates watch. Now, footage also shows people drinking cups of yellow liquid, which some have alleged is urine. This is a quote from the company. If sales goals are not met by the end of the month, the team leader will have to eat 3 cockroaches for each failed sale. That was one of the text messages sent by a manager and then published in a newspaper. Other text messages revealed several punishments devised by the firm's managers, including drinking vinegar or toilet water, selling condoms and sanitary pads on the street, and having their head shaved.
I will say this about that. My daughter ate a lot of bugs in Thailand, right? She said the cockroach, it's got like a white inside to it.
Yeah.
So when you bite into a fried cockroach, it's a little bit more like a fried wonton. If that makes sense.
Right, the goo in the middle.
Correct.
Well, these weren't fried. These are just raw.
Oh, okay.
Third and final story. A company in China. It's been caused outrage after some employees were spotted crawling on their hands and knees around a local lake because once again, they couldn't meet their sales targets. According to the reports, at least a dozen people were seen dragging themselves on all fours on a wooden path along the lake. Their clothes were worn out. Some of them were bleeding with bruises and scrapes. Now, when questioned about their unusual behavior, one of them told a reporter that they were being punished by their employer for their poor performance at work. One member of the staff was stationed at the lake to make sure that everyone finished their prescribed number of laps. The incident took place a few weeks ago, and photographs of the crawling sales staff, they were soon posted on Weibo. That's China's version of Facebook, essentially. Thousands of users spoke out again about the inhuman treatment of the poor employees. So the 3 stories, we have a company in China that punishes you by making you eat raw eggs if you don't meet your sales goals. We have a story about a company in China that makes you eat cockroaches for not meeting sales goals. And then our third story, out of nowhere, there's a company in China that caused outrage because they discipline their employees by doing things like crawling on their hands and knees around a local lake.
And all of these are different companies.
These are different companies.
This is a pattern at this point.
Oh, I wouldn't say that, Mike. Just seems if you...
Holy smokes.
Okay. Let's see. They used to have a drink in West Virginia. It was like a breakfast drink. Then it was kind of like a red eye, but if you drank it their traditional way, it was a raw cracked egg. So that was kind of like your breakfast. You've got a raw egg, you've got tomato juice, and you've got beer.
Yeah.
That's how you started your day. So I think based on all of this, and all of this is kind of crappy, I think the raw egg, and that's just our culture, not theirs. So in China, that could be considered like just completely...
I mean, if that's a punishment, I would assume... But that it's, I mean, like, if they're going to punish me, but say, Thrill, every time you mess up, you do a shot of tequila. Count on a big mess-up day, brother.
Mike, have you ever gotten the Caesar salad for 2 at a restaurant where they bring the Caesar salad table out?
No.
It's a very unique thing that you'll find every once in a while.
They will prepare the salad in front of you for you.
And the first thing they do is they make the dressing.
Right.
And they make it in the bottom of the bowl. It always involves a raw egg.
All right.
So those are the 2 instances where I've seen like it actually be a part of a recipe instead of like, I'm going to raw key this thing.
Right.
So raw eggs, you don't consume them raw all the time, but they are something that you can consume raw.
Right.
And most
although
of the time,
they don't recommend it.
It is bad for your health.
And also the risk of salmonella and stuff like this.
Exactly.
But to his point, what's crazy is when you make a Caesar salad dressing, it's just the egg yolk.
That's how you make it.
You add lemon juice and all that, but
and then it's all good.
still the raw yolk. Yeah,
it is. And very rarely they wouldn't have it on the menu if they were trying to make their customers sick. By the way, it is fantastic.
Somebody here says raw eggs are actually really good for you, bro. The risk of salmonella is very low. You're right. Right. It is very low, but they still have to say it.
Right. It's like consuming raw shellfish
might lead to,
et cetera, but that won't stop you from getting a dozen oysters.
Putting a toaster in the bathtub with you
is not
happens very rarely. The risk is low, but they still have to tell you.
Exactly.
Don't use this in the bathtub.
So I think I'm going to go with the egg-eating company in China is the one that sucks the least.
I agree with you just because it's eggs. And whether the egg is raw or cooked, at least eggs are recognized
as a familiar food as product.
Food. Like the idea of eating, and like you said, a lot of people eat cockroaches over there. So in your theory, though, to play devil's advocate, a raw egg.
They cook those in a wok.
But it's a raw cockroach.
Correct. And that does not differentiate. It just tastes better, I believe, if it's been stir-fried.
I like chicken, but if they say, hey, man, you got to bite the head off that chicken, I'm like,
See, I'm going to go with the company that has the people crawling around the lake. It's the only one that doesn't force you to ingest something. There's dietary restrictions that people have. There's different health restrictions that people have. Mm-hmm. Not to mention
I
think the second one sucks the most.
I agree.
The cockroach is just basically scratching the surface of all that these folks do.
That's just one theory. Because keep in mind, this is the same company where they whipped a shirtless guy with a belt, and they may or may not have had to drink cups of urine.
The headline is the cockroach.
The cockroach.
They did some really nasty stuff.
The cockroach is if they said, look, either we can whip your ass, which we touched on yesterday briefly, you can eat a cockroach, or what was the other? Or drink pee. Like, I'm taking the cockroach.
Like, if you got on your hands and knees and crawled to where the bathroom tile is from here, about 30 feet, right?
Yeah.
Your knees would be bruised and hurting tomorrow. You're talking about around
There's
a lake.
Technique there. You got to work on your technique at that one. But if it's around a lake, you get some good views out there. It's truly a time that you can really think about what you need to think about as far as,
like a new job.
A new job, absolutely.
You were pulling staples and stuff out of a floor for days.
Yes.
What is the thing that hurt the most?
Oh, my knees.
Well, he's also you guys are also half again my age.
Right, but I think you're at that age now where this is really going to start to hurt.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean,
me, I can crawl.
I would rather eat cockroaches than crawl around on my knees all day.
Really?
That's why guys who do flooring have those knee pads.
These are raw cockroaches, man.
It's a lake.
That's the difference. I know.
It's a beautiful lake.
I bet you it's not.
The perimeter of a lake can be 2 to 3 miles. 2 to 3 miles. You know?
Well, it could. It could also just be a little pond. You don't know, man.
Debate continues if you follow KISW on Twitter. You are listening to The Men's Room.
Looking for a better way to deploy teams in real time, respond to changes quickly, and empower more informed decisions? Cantata's purpose-built technology for professional services can help. Visit cantata.com today. KANTATA.com.
99.9 KISW. The shenanigans continue. This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
All right, coming in minutes, we'll drink and toast for the shot of the day. And we do have your headlines on the way at 5:50. But first, quick check-in with Mike Hawk and some of the stories and headlines he is not working on.
All right, Auto Trader put out a list of the best cars for dog lovers.
Okay.
And they're in no particular order, but they got like the Chrysler Pacifica's on the list, the Jeep Wrangler, the Kia Soul, the Toyota Sienna. I don't know what their criteria is. I don't know.
That you have extra space. That you're an SUV.
Right.
You know, I mean, like, to me, for a dog lover.
And these feel like big dog lovers. Because
lovers of big dogs.
I got the Scotch pad down there. Yeah, lovers of big dogs. I got the Brillo pad down there. He loves the car that we're in right now. Yeah, it's a station wagon, but he just stays in the back seat. That's just his spot. If you have a bigger dog, like my sisters do, you need a bigger car.
My dog loves the car.
I think all dogs do. Unless they only get in the car when they're going to the vet.
Right.
If you take your dog to places in the dog park, they know.
Exactly.
You're going to have a good time.
They're stoked.
I hate taking the dog places. So my wife kind of stopped because she would drive the kids to school in the morning. She came home really pissed off once. I assumed the kids did something. She goes, no. I go to drop off the kids. The window's cracked. But the dog gets excited because the dog loves little kids.
Sure.
Just jumps out the goddamn window to the cheers of like kindergartners. And now that the kindergartners are showering her with love, trying to get her back into the car.
She does not want to
go. Oh, yeah.
And she would have done that every time from then on out.
Well, that's the thing. So the following morning, she leaves the dog home and she drives up. And she's like, basically, kindergartners to send on the car. Where's the dog? She's like, the goddamn dog is not in the car this time. Leave me alone. So now she's chopped liver. They don't care about her.
Damn. A man in Trinidad made the right choice by leaving his car at the bar after drinking too much, but unfortunately it was stolen. So the guy does exactly what he's supposed to.
Trinidad, that's everywhere.
He's too drunk to drive, so he leaves his car behind, and then it gets stolen.
Sure.
Damn.
Kind of a nice crime of opportunity. That's a responsible man. Let's steal his car.
73% of parents say that their kid is fearless when presented with the opportunity to try something new.
Yes, because you don't know any better. Right. You don't know what could happen. You don't you're not able to think through all the scenarios.
Right.
You're lower to the ground. So falling doesn't hurt nearly as much.
No.
It's like you look at this 4 or 5-year-old kid skiing down the slope.
Full tilt.
He's real close to the ground. When he falls, it's not nearly as bad as some old dude who's just, like, oh, God.
My nephew has gotten into the habit of just falling to his knees, and mostly it's on hardwood or the concrete on the ground.
Yeah.
And if he wants to get down and see something, he'll just land on his knee.
But it doesn't hurt him.
No. And anybody over the age of, 14, that sucks.
It hurts.
He's also kind of like a little bowling ball.
Yes, he is.
I mean, you can just tell he's a ball of just
energy.
Let's do it.
Did you have stairs in your house when you were growing up?
Growing up, I moved into a house with stairs when I was 6. So, yeah.
Okay. How many times, if you were going downstairs, did you bother with, say, the last 4?
Oh, fair enough.
I mean, just every kid I know, they'll walk down the stairs or run down the stairs, and from stairs 6 to 4, you just launch.
Jump.
My son kept doing this. We're getting the house redone right now, and there's a point where we had to take the railing off of the stairway, okay? So picture it. It's not a split-level home, but picture the staircase with a split level. So when we got rid of the railing, there's just no railing. You overlook the stairs descending into the basement.
Oh, yeah.
So we had warned the kids, man, be really careful, guys. This is serious, blah, blah, blah. And they understood.
What stair does he jump down to?
It's like the third one.
Oh, God.
That was worth the wait, though. That turned out really good. The railing looks really nice in your house.
It does look very good.
It looks
but, I mean, it was every time he went downstairs. So even when I didn't see him, I would hear him. And I'm like, God damn it, man. Like, seriously, you gotta stop doing it. But it's just a kid thing. If there are stairs that you can ignore, you will ignore them.
I got yelled at by my mother because we continued to jump down those stairs, but underneath basically was another stairwell that led down to the basement.
Yeah.
And so right there on the landing from the top side was the ceiling of the landing of the ones going downstairs, and it had a light on there.
Oh.
And so every time we jumped down there and land, this is the older days of light bulbs when it was just a little spring in there. My mom got pissed at us because we kept breaking the doggone lights by jumping on the... It was me. My fat ass, stupid little boy's ass kept jumping down there and landing on that doggone thing like a bowling ball. And yeah, she had to curtail that.
It's just
blowing out the light.
But kids don't see that, and maybe it's little boys more than little girls. Even my kid now, if he's going to get onto the sofa, he doesn't walk to the sofa and sit down like a person.
No,
he comes from behind it. You know what I mean? There's a flip in the air.
Yeah,
and he lands in the seating position next to me, and I'm like,
he's Spider-Man, man.
Yeah.
7-Eleven is adding 2 new pizzas. Are you ready for these flavors? Are you sitting down, fellas?
7-Eleven?
7-Eleven.
Uh-oh.
They're adding a veggie pizza.
Oh, come on. You're not selling that.
You're at 7-Eleven.
You'd be better off if
they don't even sell, what if a hostess said, hey, you know what? Right beside our ding-dongs and all this, we're going to offer a salad.
You know what
7-Eleven.
You know what topping 7-Eleven should add?
They only have room for one pizza anyway at a time.
They would do better at 7-Eleven, based on the clientele, if the toppings were cigarette butts.
The next one better be
if you said we have a pizza with cigarette butts, you would sell that at 7-Eleven.
The next one better be like buffalo chicken pizza or something.
Come on.
It better be something
Miles, better, buddy. It's a breakfast pizza.
All right, that's fair.
What does that...
That's fair.
What's
it means they're not going to sell you one of those breakfast sandwiches that's been under the lamp for 2 days.
I have no idea what's on this thing, man. But I got to assume it's going to have sausage on it. It might have some diced ham. What else is going to be on a breakfast? I can't imagine they'll put egg on it or anything like that. But hash browns, maybe they might put some shaved hash brown.
I mean, look, I'm making fun of them. I'm not going to try anyone's veggie. I hate vegetables, but I would try the 7-Eleven breakfast pizza.
Gentlemen, have you ever considered changing your name? Have you ever been so unhappy with your name that you decided
Matter
to change
of fact, both times I got married, I told the person I was marrying, don't change your name. That is so weird. Like that. Just because you're with me and we're making this official doesn't mean that, like, you don't have to do that. What?
Sure.
Like, I don't want you to not be who you are. Like,
It's an old tradition that we've held for long
it
enough.
is, but it doesn't make any sense to me.
Right.
It's
just an old ass tradition. That's all it is.
Exactly.
There you go. Well,
forget it. If.
But we have put together.
The Men's Room Top 10. The Men's Room Top 10.
The 10 most popular names people are changing their names to.
Oh, no.
I was going to go with Lannister, but I don't find my brothers sexually attractive. So I decided to go with something more practical. Monosodium glutamate.
That was a Game of Thrones reference there.
Oh.
See, the Lannister or whatever they right.
Yeah, they're
That's,
Lannisters.
They were. Let's say they were into each other.
Yeah, they were into each other. They were into each other.
Yeah.
Why, yes, they were. So it's becoming a more and more popular thing for people to change their names these days for whatever reason. But people,
You know why? Because lately we've been giving people really stupid
That's
names.
fair. The stupid names are coming out of the woodwork.
Right. I can see why people might want to change their name.
You weren't qualified to be a parent.
Oh, your
you
name's-
weren't qualified to name me either. I can change that.
Your name's
whatever you need
Dollop.
to. So we do have the 10 most changed names, but I'm going to give you guys the names that everybody's changing their name to. Number 10 being Jonathan.
You're changing your name to Jonathan?
You're changing your
So
name
you're John.
to Jonathan.
John or Jonathan, I guess.
Jonathan.
Okay.
Yeah. Which you could end up
go
with
by
John
John, right.
afterwards. Yeah. So that strikes me as somebody who had a name that was a little bit more out there and wanted just a little bit more.
some normal.
Also sounds a little bit more buttoned up
Jonathan, yes.
to me. Sounds like a little bit more astute, like, I'm not John. I'm Jonathan.
Yeah, if you go by Jonathan, I expect you to act like Jonathan.
Yeah,
If you go by Johnny.
You are dressed to the nines.
Right. I expect Jonathan to wear a button up at all
maybe
times.
have a vest on or some
sometimes with
weird
a tie.
stuff. Like you're.
And if you go by Johnny, I know you got some dirty street drugs.
That
on
you do.
Yeah.
That you do.
Total difference.
Or at least you know a guy.
Number 9, Connor.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean,
I've
not
known a
wrong with
couple
the names.
Connors.
Sure.
Right. Connor feels like a kid name. I don't know how many adult Connors I've met. You know what I mean?
You got to stay friends with the kid Connors.
I guess.
And then eventually.
Because I am still friends with a Connor that I met in school, but I don't know any adult Connors that I know. Conor McGregor, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, but I don't know him.
I mean,
I know
he's
of him.
basically a giant child, and I only say that because he's not in this studio and he
That is
doesn't know
correct.
who I am. Number 8, Matthew.
Right, these are the names people are changing their
They are
names. to.
changing their names to
Actually,
Matthew.
I feel better about this list because I thought it was going to be like, rim shot, all that kind of thing.
Well, it seems to me like they're changing their names to the boring names that people are not.
Exactly.
The older names that were like popular when we were kids.
There is something to this, though, and I will let you guys know because I think we're going to get through this fast on if I can tell you the names that people are changing. And they're not quite out there, but
It's
there
not
is something
boring.
about
It's
it.
just there was more than one of them in the class.
Yeah.
Number 7, Elijah.
All right, I mean, I guess.
That's a name that you got to live into, I believe, is Elijah.
But I think there's different there's like Black Elijah and there's White Elijah, right?
Fair.
Black Elijah's already bald, and even though you were born this year,
in fourth grade.
you're already 75 years old.
You are.
You know what I mean?
But you're wise.
You're very wise.
Oh,
You're smart Elijah.
Oh, you shouldn't be in school.
No one knows.
I do that twice.
It's so close.
Coke bottle glasses.
He's got
Not
what?
not the Rooster bottle.
What kind of glasses are those again?
Whew.
Well, I mean, it's really not dirty because there's no such thing. Unless you stick it in the bottle.
Okay. Elijah has Coke bottles.
Correct.
Yeah.
Freudian slip there.
Yeah.
Numbers.
That's what the polar bears are doing in the edge.
Sure.
That's why they're
I
drinking
get it now. I get it now.
Get it empty first.
And you're not drinking it. That's all subliminal. That's just a sign for the what's really happening.
Dump it in the ocean, son, and put your D in it.
Elijah's in the library, right?
That crap's poisonous. Pour that out and rinse it out in the water.
Either way, we've determined both intelligent.
Yes.
Every time I see those polar bears on, I'm like, that's Elijah. Don't ask how I know.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord. Number 6, Michael. Good name, strong name.
Stupid name.
Fantastic name, man. That is an archangel right there.
You should go by that.
I should go by Michael?
Yeah.
Michael Hawk.
Michael Hawk.
Well, I did forever throughout school, man, for obvious reasons.
When was the time change on Michael to Mike?
You know what?
Like, do you remember how old you are when you determined? Because that's up to you, kind of, right?
I was out of high school, if I'm not mistaken. I was never Mike in high school.
Really?
After I graduated and started getting into my professional life, Mike just hit better for me. It felt better.
All right.
You know,
if you're getting into radio, I feel like Mike, it's better than Michael unless you're doing a news show.
Right.
Then go ahead and be Michael Hawk.
I was the third, so my parents called me by my middle name.
Right.
So just to kind of separate it, right?
Exactly.
But then I'll go to a doctor's office, and my first name is James.
Right.
But I've never gone by James my entire life.
You've been Miles.
Right. So someone will go, Jim.
Oh,
Jimmy.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, I am not focused in on
You don't hear that.
No.
I'm like, oh, who's Jim? I'm the only person in the waiting room. Like, what the? Oh, God, that's me. Sorry. Oh, shoot.
Oh, man. Number 5, Olivia.
Olivia.
That's a good name. I like the name Olivia.
Especially for a dude.
Number 4, William. William.
So traditional classic names seem to be the...
Pretty much. Number 3, this is where it kind of gets weird. Sebastian.
Not a terrible name, though.
What's the shortened version of that?
Seabass.
I like
that's
that.
what everybody says.
Actually, I like
right?
that.
Yeah.
I mean, that was Raiders kicker forever, came over here for 1 year. He did not do well.
Janikowski.
Janikowski, Seabass.
Well, he did really well throughout his NFL career.
He did, yeah. His career in Seattle has nothing to do with the rest of his fantastic career.
He came here to die.
Yes, he did.
And to drink and smoke weed.
Number 2, Chloe.
All right. Right? Somehow that name always has like
a dog.
And then the number 1 name that everybody is changing their name to, Isaac.
Really?
Right. Now, here's the thing. I told you those names to tell you these names, because these are the 10 most changed names, and they actually did do the math for us here. The 10 names that everybody's changing is 1 is David, Sophia, Isabella, James, Michael, Elliot, Connor, Aiden, Chol, and Isaac.
Chol?
And that is it. How many of these were typos?
Oh,
what do you
yeah.
mean? How many of the... Chol, that is supposed to be the name Chloe, but it's spelled wrong.
A lot of times when people get their birth certificate, if they enter that, if you are off by
a single letter,
it was very important to my mother that my name be spelled with the V and not the PH. And she said,
she saw it on the TV show.
Yeah, and she said, I like the way it looked. So she kept emphasizing this to whoever does the... So it never says it, man. She goes, if they spell it wrong, that is your legal name.
That's right.
Like that's it, man.
That is exactly
Miles with a Y. Can't do that.
Can't do it.
No.
Kennedy owns that one.
Yes, he does.
Yes, he does. A 61-year-old woman was saved from a bear attack thanks to an unlikely hero.
What was that?
Tell you all about it at 5:50.
Thank you, sir. Headlines are coming up at 5:50. In the meantime, let's get a contestant on the line for Profile This at 206-421-ROCK.
Are you pulling your hair out trying to increase resource utilization, deliver projects on time, and hit profitability targets? It doesn't have to be that hard. Cantata's purpose-built technology for professional services lets you manage resources, timelines, budgets, and client outcomes with up-to-the-minute insights right at your fingertips, so you can keep your business running smoothly, predictably, and profitably. Stop looking and start improving with Cantata today. That's KANTATA.com.
Looking for a better way to deploy teams in real time, respond to changes quickly, and empower more informed decisions? Cantata's purpose-built technology for professional services can help. Visit cantata.com today. KANTATA.com.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith. Thanks for listening to the Men's Room Daily Podcast. Want more? Check out the greatest podcast in all the land, the podcast. Be sure to subscribe and listen to a brand new episode every Tuesday night.
All right, it's drinking time.
Somebody out there deserves to be recognized. And the men's room knows just who it is. So to you, we say, bottoms up, sailor. You're the toast of our shot of the day.
Drink time it is, and as usual, we head to the drink test and Stephen Throwhill to find out who we're toasting.
Yes, indeed. And today we toast an unidentified man from Evansville, Indiana. It's near the Kentucky border, if that matters. Police there, they were called about a possible fight on a highway. And when they got there, it turned out that a guy was trying to take someone's truck. But when the police got there, he gave up and ran out into the road looking for another car to steal. That's when a car hit him. Now, the good news is he was not seriously injured. But when the cops were trying to help him, he jumped up and he ran back out into the road again, looking for another car to steal. And he got hit a second time. This time he got hit by a semi, and somehow he still was not seriously
This is
injured.
amazing.
Yeah, anyway, they took him to the hospital to get checked out. They were like, dude, he's other than a few bumps and bruises, he's all right.
See,
and then they took his ass to jail.
If we were playing profile this, I'd say PCP or bath salts. Based on the fact that he got up after getting hit by a car.
Yeah, and then a semi.
Like, this is the guy that doesn't get brought down by being tased.
Right. Even the cops were like, when he got hit by the car, they're like, oh, man. Right. And they go over there and he's like, I'm okay. Then he runs away. Like, and then a semi blown. They're like, oh, my God. And when they get there, he's like, no, still, I'm okay.
I'm good.
Nothing will kill me. Can't die. So we pour this booze and we drink this booze because we think it's yummy.
Yummy!
So over the tongue and down the throat to party in our tummies. Down the hola, bichola.
The Men's Room presents Profile This.
And Stephen Throwhill, could you please tell everyone how Profile This is played?
I sure can, Miles. It's a simple game where we share with you a real-life news story, something that happened right here on planet Earth. Earth. And as you listen to the story, based on the stereotypes you believe to be true of people and the decisions that people make, we'll ask you what it is you think makes a story a story. Hello, Joe Dredd. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Hola.
Hola. Joe, let me ask you this. I know you know how the game is played. We'll get there in a second. Have you ever thought about driving your Uber in your Gene Simmons costume?
Yeah.
Yes, you're not the first person to bring that up. I'll tell you, though, sitting in that costume is kind of uncomfortable, and there's no way you can drive wearing platform boots.
That would not be good, especially with a stick.
Then you got to tell them to redesign cars because Gene's driving. All right, Joe, which category would you like to go with today?
You know, but hey, before we jump into this, I got to return a shout out. 2 weeks ago, Thomas in Paulsbo gave me a shout out. So I'm going to throw a shout out back to my buddy Thomas out in Paulsbo, and I'm going to let everybody know that his nickname is Vanilla Bean.
So he can't dance.
Yeah, sure. Why?
All right, Joe, what category are you looking for today?
I'm going to go with drugs.
All right. I get a feeling it's something you might know a little something about.
I do know a little something about drugs.
All right, here's your story. We go to the fine state of Oklahoma, where a woman that was high on drugs was seen on video being detained in a police officer's car, crawling around and barking before she managed to slip out of her handcuffs, find the officer's assault rifle, and start shooting out the window. This is all the work of 36-year-old Rachel Zion Clay. She was detained last Friday afternoon during a welfare check after a homeowner there called authorities because of her, quote, erratic behavior. So responding officers say they only plan to detain her, not arrest her, when they fitted her with the double-lock handcuffs and placed her in the back seat of a police car.
Okay.
Well, what happened next? Well, she slipped her right wrist out of the handcuffs, reached the console toward the front of the car, unlocked the gun compartment before retrieving an AR-15 assault rifle.
Oh.
She then loaded, so it wasn't already loaded. She then loaded a magazine into the gun, flipped the rifle's flashlight on, pointed it out the rear window, and opened fire. Now, one officer and another were injured in the shooting as bullets grazed them, but both were treated for non-life-threatening injuries and released from the hospital. As for the woman herself, she barricaded herself inside the vehicle for over 4 hours before she surrendered. She's now been charged with 3 felony counts of shooting with intent to kill for the shooting and is being held on $1 million bond. Now, authorities said the police department will be making changes to the procedures in the wake of the incident, including altering how the police cruisers are set up. She just reached it up.
It sounds to me like she knew exactly what she was doing. Like she must have dated a police officer before.
Something, or she owns one, right? Because she grabbed it.
Well, they AR-15 know how to load it up and just start shooting people.
Yeah, to start a fire.
Well, you got to remember it's Oklahoma.
Oh, right. That's why I get the feeling there.
Yeah, they killed her elephant.
Let's see. So the question is, what drug was she on? Was it PCP, bath salts, meth, or crack?
Jeez. Okay, well, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I know absolutely nothing about bath salts, and I do know a little bit about the others. What do you guys think? Let me hear what you got to say.
I'm tending to think, as strategic as this was, what can you focus on? So bath salt seems to be like just crazy, just out of control behavior,
right?
Where you don't act logically. PCP seems to have that same kind of feel to it.
That's a general effect, yeah.
Crack and meth, you are alert, awake, and somewhat cognizant of your behavior.
Yeah, for sure.
But crack doesn't exist in the Midwest that much. I'm going to go meth, Joe.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Let's go with meth.
All right, meth.
Mike?
Give me the outside choice on crack.
Crack. Okay. All right. What was on PCP, bath salts, meth, or crack? We'll find out next.
That was a tease.
Nobody likes keeping track of a wallet full of credit cards with complicated rewards categories. And BECU members like Heather don't have to.
With this card, I don't really spend a lot of time thinking about it. I just use it and pay it. It's pretty simple.
Keep things simple with the Cashback Visa from BECU. No more confusing categories, no more blackout dates. Just 1.5% cash back on every purchase. BECU. Power in people. Member compensated for participation. Cash advances and cash-like transactions do not qualify as purchases. Contact BECU at 800-233-2328 for current product and rate information.
99.9 KISW. We return to the men's room with Miles and Thrill.
Drugs is a category. A woman in Oklahoma, she was high on drugs so much that neighbors or whoever called in a report of hey, she's
a wellness check,
mental crisis there. She was in the back of a squad car. They did apprehend her. She got out of her handcuffs. Tells me she's really skinny.
Yeah.
But she knows her stuff because she somehow figured out to unlock an AR-15 within the car and then begin to open fire on the officer.
She had to load it, too.
Oh, yeah. She did all the stuff.
All
question
the
is,
things.
Was she on PCP, bath salts, meth, or crack?
And Joe Dredd, that is the very question that we posed to you. Let us start with Mike Hawk.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, you went with crack. Afraid it wasn't crack.
Damn.
And Joe, you agree with Miles. Give Miles credit. I like your methodology and how you thought it through. Just saying, look,
But we didn't win.
You still had to be lucid enough to do everything she did, right? No, Joe, you won, buddy.
All right. Joe, next time I see you, we're going to do some meth together and be constructive.
We're going to do meth and fire guns, too, man.
Yeah, we do stupid stuff. Anyway, now for all TV news all the time for TV Time with Ted.
And now, because your pathetic life is confined to countless hours in front of a talking box, the Men's Room presents TV Time with Ted.
Whoops, dip responsibly. I did not mean to hit that, but I double-clicked.
But you still got to say dip responsibly.
I did say
it's
dip
like
responsibly.
punch, but see, this is what's happened on the show. Anytime, play that thing again. Anytime you hear...
I got to do it on the other one because that one came in.
Give me one. Give me one.
Okay, Miles Montgomery.
Dip responsibly.
Ooh, like your delivery. Your delivery's different.
Smooth.
But see, it's like punch bug now because we dip responsibly. It's like punch bug. If you hear the goddamn thing, you got to say it.
Exactly. See, now there's the problem with me giving you guys the hotkey buttons because now you guys can hit it
It's
too.
kind of like Coors Brewing Company. Golden, Colorado.
Dip responsibly.
That's exactly
told
right.
Mike today, I was like, look, man, if we get any really sad, like soul-crushingly sad stories, which we try to avoid, but it happens every once in a while because life is life.
Yep.
We said we should just break into it with that. You know what's going on? And that's when my mother passed away she had cancer and died in a burning car accident anyway. Dip responsibly. Sorry, man, continue.
Oh, there's more. We can illegally
I didn't think about interrupting
We can
the guy.
illegally advertise for tobacco products.
Yeah.
Skull, brother. Dip responsibly.
Oh, God.
Copenhagen. Dip responsibly.
Well,
you want your lip to fall off?
We're going to get naked and jump in the pool. Dip responsibly.
Skinny dip responsibly.
Yeah. Skinny dip irresponsibly. Do you know what I'm saying?
Do you like tea? Do you like bags? Don't do that.
Is this a TV segment? Okay. So good news, boys. I actually have, it's going to be a big time TV news segment that we have today. We have a lot of different things that are coming in the news right now. So do we have any breaking news?
I do have breaking
news music there, Miles.
I've got them in.
You know, the groovy
If you just
bits,
told me
but,
beforehand, I'd be better.
I don't mind. Why don't you plan?
My bad.
Seriously. Okay.
Here's the news, boys. It's always amusing when millennials discover something that old schoolers basically grew up with, but the New York Post claims that millennials and Gen Z kids have been saving money by canceling their pricey subscription services like Netflix and HBO Max and are turning to antennas for, get this, free TV.
Well, guess what? Hey, if you live in the greater Seattle area, you're downtown, you can get And the sub-carriers they have, like we have an HD channel 2.
Yes.
Right.
Which is metal.
Correct. Yeah,
right?
not Metal Shop. Hang on. Metal Militia.
Metal Militia,
right.
yeah.
So we have that. If you have an HD radio or a radio that gets that channel, you can listen to that too, right? And plus so many more channels on the Odyssey app. And I know we tell you, you need to go listen to all those. Same thing with TV as far as, here in Seattle. So I think Q13, their B channel is Joe TV.
Right.
Right. That's channel 10, I believe.
No, you go to 13 point whatever, 1, and then it's below that. There's a.
I get it on channel 10. I'm right there with Mike, yeah. Where we can.
You guys get it on 10? On your cable?
On cable, yes.
Okay, so if you have an antenna, so what he's saying is millennials.
Right. So
they're getting an antenna. I have an antenna on my television.
Right.
So oftentimes, for whatever reason, they'll block out like Sounders matches and other weird stuff. Well, with my antenna, I can get all that stuff.
Exactly.
So if you live in a major metropolitan area, you can get ABC, CBS, NBC, Fox. Then you get all of the boring government channels out of Olympia. Then you get PBS, and then there's a myriad of stuff that's up in the top that are foreign language channels, tons of Japanese channels, like you get the equivalent of BBC in Japan.
Domo arigato.
Yeah.
When because I gave that a shot, the finances were getting a little bit tight there, so we moved over to an antenna, and I would recommend this. If
you were getting married and finances got tight at the same time.
Who'd have thought?
I don't believe
We
that.
tried to grab the antenna, and unfortunately, where I was at, man, they have a deal. If you ever go out there to buy, like if you go to a Walmart or a Target or something like that, and you're going to buy one of those little antennas, those rabbit ears that you can put out there, scan the thing on the back or go to the website that they tell you, because there actually is a map that'll say, hey, here's the channels that you might be able to get in your area. Put in your zip code, and it'll tell you the channels that you might be able to get. Because I thought I could get a hell of a lot more than I could. I could not.
Also, keep in mind, an antenna is the value of the antenna.
Right.
So that is the equivalent of the amplification of a receiver, or I'm sorry, of your amplifier in your stereo, right?
Right.
So if you get one that plugs in, like a cable splitter, and it's got, you can buy a $30, $40 antenna.
Oh, yeah.
It's a bigger tower. It's not just a wire.
Right.
And that will pick up a hell of a lot more.
Right.
Than your cheap
It's just going to look
antenna.
a little clunky in there.
Well, you just put it behind the television.
You could.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Or put it in the window. No, I mean...
and there's others that you got to put up on top of your house as well.
Right.
There are times where I search and I can get up to 25 channels. Then I redo my antenna and search again, and I've got 65.
Right.
All right.
If you follow what I'm saying.
Sure.
Depending on the location of where you fly this flag.
Right.
It's an antenna, dude.
It does have to be pointed
if you take
in
the
the
antenna
direct...
in your car and put it in the trunk, it's not going to do as
It's
well
not gonna do anything,
if you
yeah.
put it on the top of your car.
Exactly.
What I discovered in childhood was that...
foil.
Aluminum foil?
No, not that. When we were growing up, man, like, you just had antennas. There was no cable, nothing. And if my father wanted to watch something...
Rabbit ears.
You'd move the rabbit ears, right, because you had to adjust it wherever the transmission was coming from. But every time you let go of the antennas, the reception got worse.
Yes.
And my father would have me stand like, just wait till the first commercial break.
Yeah.
If you put a 30-foot lightning rod above your house and that's your antenna, you're going to get a whole lot of S.
Yes, you are. Yes. The thing is, when I was out in Issaquah, because of the mountains and all the trees out there, I couldn't get a whole lot of really good signal.
That's a difficult area.
The doggone religious channel was the one that came through clear as freaking crystal. Everything else had a little bit of snow on there.
And you're not even Jewish.
I know.
It's so weird.
Says I get a lot of channels way out in Ording. Indoor antenna.
Okay, I haven't tried it down in Sumner, so maybe I'll...
As soon as you get flat, man, it's like anything else.
Right.
The signals travel, so you can pick those up.
Exactly.
So you think you're in an area where you're not close, but as long as you get antenna stuff, it bounces.
Right.
Bounces off the clouds, bounces off the ground.
Exactly.
It's like AM radio.
Right. Got to get there's actually a physical signal out there that you got to grab.
Yeah.
So there you go. Millennials are starting to cut a little bit of cost there because... To be honest with you, the streaming services, they're getting to be so many in so many different directions.
Right. And a lot of them, it's just like, we have friends. Like, well, everyone has friends.
Right.
Right. You're not offering anything that anyone's going to miss.
Right. And, yeah. So, and especially the thing that's keeping people, like, on cable was live sports.
Yeah.
So if I was able to get a pair of rabbit ears, maybe pick up Q13, and I'm able to get those games.
Someone says some of those major over-the-air channels don't come in salt neighborhoods. Not sure what a salt neighborhood is.
Salt neighborhoods.
So I'm sorry. I'd try to help you if I could.
Okay. Salt neighborhoods.
Yeah.
We do have more breaking news here, Miles. We have breaking news music. Breaking news. Leaving the TV on for your dog probably isn't doing much. It says, do you ever leave music on for your dog to keep them company while you're gone? Or maybe even just put on a TV show? Well, it turns out that you might just be wasting electricity. A new study looked at how dogs behaved when their owners played music and audiobooks while they were gone. And in general, it didn't make that big of a difference. If music helped, it was only a little, and audiobooks really had no effect.
It's not you talking.
Right. It's
if
not
it were
your voice.
Right. Another thing, I always wonder about this, and I don't know, but, dogs hear all kinds of things we don't. So I was wondering, when I leave the TV on, or even, I never leave the TV on for the dog, but if I'm watching TV and the dog's in the room, I always wonder, what other sounds are you hearing? Because this is an electronic device.
Exactly.
Right? And you know what I'm saying? There have to be some
the whirs
high-pitched...
and the hums and the zaps that's going on inside
We
there,
don't
man.
hear this.
Right.
So I'm wondering if the dog deep down's like, I get used to this because I know part of your routine, you turn on this glowy box that screeches at me.
Right.
So that's almost like, are you sure you want to just leave your TV on for the dog?
See,
'Cause
here
I don't know what it's hearing.
Well, you watch the videos of the dogs jumping up and down, watching their favorite shows, but they're always in the company of their owners.
Of their people, yeah.
So, separation anxiety-wise, if you live in a neighborhood that's kind of close-knit, you just want the TV or the music on to drown out the fact that your dog has separation anxiety.
Right. Exactly.
So you're just trying to hopefully calm them down with sounds, with things that seem like they're not alone. If it's completely quiet, sometimes they'll have a just absolute meltdown.
Yes.
So I think you're trying to defend that.
Yes.
If that makes sense.
So the way that they did this
Because I've had 3 beagles.
The study involved 82 different dogs. Some sat in silence, some listened to Mozart, and others listened to the audiobook version of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. The classic music did seem to help them settle a little faster at first, but that was the only real difference, and they still showed other signs of stress. You weren't there, and they were now trapped in a box.
Right.
The researchers didn't look at whether the visuals from a TV might do anything, but they did say that sound alone appears to offer, quote, a little value to dogs dealing with short-term stress. I will say this. It is not advisable just because of what is eventually going to happen. One thing that our cat got used to was we have the ability to put YouTube on our TV, and they actually have videos there that are kind of stimulating videos for cats. Sometimes it's a string that's running across. Other times it's basically a live camera that's on a bird feeder.
Oh, God.
And birds come in all the time.
What are they, like, how can we destroy your television so easily?
That's exactly
how
what
do
it
we,
was.
like, I mean, oh my God.
Like,
You know,
we would put that
oh my
on
God.
there, my cat
Why
would
are
have
there
a great old
scratches on the
time.
TV?
I'd come home with a destroyed TV, so no doubt about that. We do have some more breaking news here, Miles. Do we have breaking news music?
I need to look.
Hang on.
Oh, wow, I do.
Let's head on over and talk about Sylvester Stallone. He recently had a tattoo of his wife, Jennifer Flavin, covered with a tattoo of Butkus, his dog in the first 2 Rocky movies.
No offense, dude. Do not get someone else's name tattooed on your body.
No face.
And
it was her face.
Definitely.
On his right,
do not
on his
do
right
the
shoulder.
face unless it is in
Okay.
memoriam.
Time
I'm
out.
telling you, look, if the person has passed, I get it. If it is your own child, I get it. If it's your significant other, don't do it.
Okay, I agree with all this. So we were talking about this earlier in the office, right?
Okay.
So the idea was, the story is, so according to Mr. Stallone, he has a tattoo of his wife on his shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
The tattoo, I guess, was not the best job.
Correct.
According to him.
It does say that there's no trouble in the marriage. He just wanted to refresh it.
Correct. Here's the original story. So they try to go in and kind of just touch this up.
Touch it up. That's right.
But apparently that did not go over very well.
No, it did not.
So he then decided to cover up that tattoo with a picture of his dog that's been dead for years.
Yes.
Okay? So I read this, and I'm like, Mike, I know this doesn't make any sense, but this is good for TV Time with Ted because this is all part of a TV show.
Oh, sure.
So they're
all
doing
TV.
something for like Paramount Plus, whatever the network is, Apple Plus, can't remember. Anyway, so they're not getting, nothing's wrong. He just got his wife's face covered with his dead dog.
Yes, he did.
But you can understand why that might cause speculation if they go, hey, didn't you used to have your wife on your shoulder? And you go, yeah. And now you covered her face with your dead dog. My assumption is that something went wrong.
20 minutes later, TMZ reports that Sylvester Stallone's wife filed for divorce.
Oh, no kidding.
15 minutes after we had that conversation.
Oh, no.
Flavin, whatever her name is?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, she filed for divorce.
Filed for divorce.
As soon as he got the... Well...
Okay.
He put his dead dogs...
So how much is that story?
He never went in and go, I need to make my wife look better on my...
Yeah, that was straight up.
He would have
coming to an end.
Give me a dead dog on my arm over her head.
Because I was about to come on
she's
here...
like, you know what, man...
Because I was about to come on here and say, what does that say that it's easier to change this face into a dog than it is to touch it up?
Right.
There was
no touch-up.
There was no touch-up at all.
He put the dog's face.
Damn.
Think about the vindictiveness.
That is cold.
You have a picture, and Steve, back to the point, you are correct. Don't do this from the beginning. But when you do, don't put your dead dog's face over top of your wife's as a cover-up.
Well, why not? Because at that point, you clearly
You can put...
things have gone south.
You can put anything
but you're
over
sending
that.
a message to her.
Look, if you cover that tattoo up, if you cover her up with a UFO, Bigfoot, Chewbacca, it does not matter. If you covered up her face with a different tattoo, and now it's your dead dog that you love,
yeah,
you've just really gone like, right in the back.
I'm all right with that.
One more
She's
piece
going to
of
take half his crap like, right, I covered your face with a dead dog.
More than that.
Yeah.
One more piece of TV news here,
one
Miles.
bitch with another. Sorry.
Do we have the TV news music? One more piece of TV news.
I got that part.
Talking Celebrity Jeopardy.
This just it.
It returns this fall with host Maya Bialik, and contestants will include Michael Cera, Patton Oswalt, Constance Wu, and comedian Eliza Schlesinger, and BJ Novak. Mayim says, quote, let's hope they've been reading more than screenplays, and it premieres September 25th at 8 o'clock Eastern on ABC.
I think this is one of the most... If you agree to do this, you might not be able to dance. There's all kinds of, reality shows where you go in there, can you do this, can you do that? This is your brain.
Right.
When you go on Jeopardy,
sure,
we can all sit back, just like Big Dummy. We can watch it at home, and we can say, I know the answers to these questions most of the time. But it seems like when you play...
It frees up, man.
It's just kind of, or are you fast enough to remember,
That's
the
key.
people, it's the button.
It's moving. But everyone you just named is a very, you can like them or not like them, but they're very intelligent.
But that's
people.
what it takes. Think of the people that said no.
Right.
They announced who they had.
Sylvester Stallone.
There's
There's
100 people that are like, dude, I feel like I've got a pretty good core of knowledge, but if I go on Jeopardy, I'm going to look like the dumbest person on this planet.
Screw it up.
Right?
What are you going to watch tonight? The 13th season premiere of Archer premieres tonight at 10 o'clock on FXX. I love Archer, man. It's been a hot minute since I've watched it. I do want to catch up on it, but there you go. What are you going to watch tonight? Late night tonight. There's only one guy who's actually live putting in the work, and that's James Corden, so check him out.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. You're listening to the Men's Room.
Are you pulling your hair out trying to increase resource utilization, deliver projects on time, and hit profitability targets? It doesn't have to be that hard. Cantata's purpose-built technology for professional services lets you manage resources, timelines, budgets, and client outcomes with up-to-the-minute insights right at your fingertips, so you can keep your business running smoothly, predictably, and profitably. Stop looking and start improving with Cantata today. That's KANTATA.com.
The Men's Room returns with Miles and Thrill. Now, let's see what's happening in the real world.
All right, here we go. Man loses a half his skull after playing pub golf. Oh, and yes, he went into a coma after falling down. If you wonder where your pizza is, it's with the cup delivery man, who is definitely headed downtown. Woman attacked by bear, that's when her Jack Russell sprang into action. Tracking devices found in snakes appear to involve a little subtraction. And a car thief drives a stolen car down the steps and into a subway station. It is time for your headlines.
Now, it's time to hit the headlines. Here's Mike Hawk.
At our top story, we go to Vermont, where a woman was out for a walk. Enjoying the scenery of a wooded trail, the woman was thrown off guard by a roaring noise coming from the trees. She turned in time to see that that a bear was growling and charging at her, so she did her best to run from the animal. Unfortunately, she fell down as she was trying to escape and felt the bear step on her leg and bite down on it. That's when the unlikely hero, her Jack Russell Terrier, charged the beast himself.
Yes.
barking and biting at the bear until it ran away from the crew.
They give zeros.
They give zeros.
They give zeros.
Yes. My dog gives zeros.
Yes.
She got back to her home with her dogs without further incident and was treated for her injuries. Local wildlife officials believe it was a mother with cubs in the area, which is cause for the concern.
That makes
there.
sense.
You are absolutely right, Miles. My dog will not start a fight, but if he gets snapped at by any dog, he also won't give it up. He will just come. He'll go after it.
Like,
No,
dude,
not
I'm
good.
just trying to be a cool
not
guy.
good, man. Yeah.
No,
good.
he should go back at him.
Good. No, he shouldn't.
And
He's
he
too
just drop the leash
small.
and go, let's go.
He's too small, but
your
he
neighbor.
won't give up the fight. He's going to get himself hurt, man. Stupid
I don't think
moron.
so.
Yes, he is.
Do chihuahuas get hurt?
Sure.
I don't feel it. They should,
but I'm not sure if they do. I think you're like, oh no, it's a little rat.
Not enough that they ever lose the attitude.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Like, they've never been punched in the face.
Like, I love that dog, man, but doggone it, you're gonna get your ass kicked. I get it. Okay, the big dog called you a bitch. That's fine. Whatever it is, let it go.
But it's accurate.
It's a pit, man. He's gonna take you out. It's a German Shepherd. You're not gonna win that fight.
But look. Sometimes things don't make sense. We talked about a video off air. There's a lion in the middle of wherever the hell lions live, drinking out of a river. Yeah. And this little ass turtle goes right up to the lion's mouth. He's like, hey, up you.
Yes.
So the lion gets up and moves like 5 feet away. The turtle now gets out of the water. It keeps coming toward the lion.
Maybe has an 8-inch shell.
Yes. Maybe. It is a small turtle. This is not some giant turtle.
Now he's got his neck out like, dude, stop drinking my water.
What are you doing?
Get out of here.
Think about that. You see a spider, right? Now, I'm not a fan of spiders. One of the reasons I don't like spiders because in spite of our clear size difference, as soon as they see you, they give you the fight flex.
Yes.
Right? They're like, hey, bring it on, mother effer.
You got bit again?
I did.
Jesus, man.
Miles Montgomery, you got bit again.
They tear you up. You're like, God
Lord.
You are tasty to spiders, man.
You are.
Tasted a lot of
You need to bomb your house, man.
Who's out there?
In other news, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police have a message for an unfortunate resident whose pizza didn't arrive on time, or possibly at all. They tweeted from their official page, quote, how not to deliver a pizza. Drive 2 times the speed limit while on your cell phone and without insurance. This kind of driving is dangerous, and your pizza will probably never make it. Ow. They clocked a local delivery driver doing roughly 80 and a 45.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay. 30 minutes or less, bro.
And he's on his cell phone, and he doesn't have insurance. Man, there's only so much leeway we can give.
When you drive illegally, follow all the rules.
Amen to that, brother. A man in England is seeking damages from the auditing company that he works for after he had a bad time at an outing. The firm held a pub golf event in which participants go to 9 locations or holes, along with scorecards checking off how many swigs it takes to finish a beer. He said the event encourages excessive drinking of alcohol, which caused him to black out during the event and fall into the street, putting him into a 4-week coma.
So do you understand how this works?
During which half of his skull needed to be removed. He's seeking more than $230,000 in damages.
So it's based on drinks. So a drink is a stroke.
Right.
So we get to the first bar. How many sips are you taking on the first beer?
For a pint?
Yeah.
If I'm going for the high score or low score, as it were,
it's the tip.
It's the tip.
It's the tip.
Shoot,
So
I can get a hole in one on the first beer.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the way the game is played.
Yes.
So you walk in the first bar, you just totally down the beer.
Right, of course.
Second beer, third beer, fourth beer. Oh,
That's right.
no.
There it goes.
Yep.
That's it for headlines with that. Mike Hawkins out.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate it. Lovely Taryn Daly's up next. We'll see you tomorrow for Big Dummy. And the head chef is not here because Aaron Jones is stopping by.
Yay.
Damn right, he makes better food. In the meantime, we be all about this bitch for 180 seconds or so. No reason I said that. So until then, please do what you do best for our lead the sake. Stay beautiful.
This room has been taped before a live studio audience. Wardrobe and makeup provided by Mantastic Limited. This has been a presentation of the Men's Room Radio Network.
Oh, man!
A Double Flush production. Portions of the following program have been pre-recorded.
And now, ladies and gentlemen,
This is not a test. Your ears do not deceive you. There is no way out. You are here.
Are you pulling your hair out trying to increase resource utilization, deliver projects on time, and hit profitability targets? It doesn't have to be that hard. Cantata's purpose-built technology for professional services lets you manage resources, timelines, budgets, and client outcomes with up-to-the-minute insights right at your fingertips, so you can keep your business running smoothly, predictably, and profitably. Stop looking and start improving with Cantata today. That's KANTATA.com.